Yeah, perfect, Omar.
Oh, geez, hot light.
We are live. We are live. We are live. Oh, I do have to make sure. Hi, everybody. Let me make sure that we're getting the right audio. No, we're not getting the right audio. So we need the USB-C for the MixPre 10. Hi, everybody. Bear with us. Wave, Eric. Pretend.
Hello.
Yes, pretend.
Hello. I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah. Eric here, and we'll go because we'll edit this out. But this is for live. It's in. Okay, here we go. You're about to hear us much better. Okie dokie. And there we go. Yes. And camera is the yes. Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hello, Karen. Yes. And special guest Eric. Yeah. See that, Eric? They know your name.
Oh, hi, Karen.
Yeah. So I can make this, let me see.
And the canister.
Let me see. I can probably.
Karen's on it.
Let me see. Can I bring this? Oh, the monitor is not to my computer. I see. The monitor is just a camera monitor.
Yes.
If we go out here, yeah. That would be perfect. Hi, everybody. We're in a new location. So if we put that here, then I'll be able to see questions up there. All right, let's see. Hi, Karen. Yes, the canister is behind me, and special guest Eric. Yeah, and let me see. So now, Eric.
Yes.
Before I introduce you, even because we're going to go right to questions, we have to go live here. So you're going to be truncated. I realize, guys.
Oh, because in the vertical.
Yeah. So literally, I think I have
I'll
to
lean
sit on
in.
your lap, and you have to sit on my lap. Yeah. So this is us. So now, wow. So this is going to really funny for camera.
Right.
All right. Hi, everybody. Yeah, this is the problem with StreamYard going on with two guests.
Right. Well, why don't we just tell everybody to, what is that for?
That's
the vertical.
Instagram.
Well,
Go to everybody. Go to
isn't
Facebook.
Instagram one by one, not vertical?
No, it is. That's through that. By the way, this is Inside Baseball Talk.
Yeah.
Brought to you by.
Yeah,
us.
we're talking aspect ratios
Yeah,
here.
aspect ratio.
9:16.
Hello, Mona.
9:16.
I'm saying hi to
Can I do
Mona.
both?
Okay.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, but it's
And Maria.
You can see the shot on here. Let me go live. This is. I love this.
Maria is from Montana. I have an obsession with wanting to move to Montana.
Oh. See, Marie, you have a chance to move out.
Yeah, I think I can be a cowboy.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
Is that no?
Doesn't
That's
seem-
interesting, Eric.
Yeah.
But let me start. So for everybody on Instagram, see, lean in, Eric.
Oh,
See
yeah.
that?
Hi.
Okay. Yeah. See, and that's our camera. This is so, folks. We're going live on a bunch of different things, and so I'm apologizing up front on Instagram because if we sit like this, it's really bizarre.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So if you're on Instagram, go to Facebook,
Go
or
to
YouTube.
or YouTube, and you'll see us completely. Okay.
Well, let's keep them on Facebook so Zuckerberg doesn't get mad at us,
Oh, yeah,
right?
that's
All
true.
part of the same company.
That's true. Okay, so now this is way over here, but I can do this now. No, I'm going to do this. So sorry, folks. We're really in a whole new, brand new setup here. So can you read those
From there?
or here? It
little
doesn't matter. This is
Well, I can lean in and read.
yeah. This is
I
this.
see
Hold on.
Susan, I see Mona, I see Kurt, I see Bart, I
Yeah.
see Parmi.
Yeah. So when
Austin?
when my relative says it's not good on Instagram, go to Facebook. Everybody, go to
Yes.
Facebook. We can only accomplish so many things with the 17 people crew that we have here.
So that's on a delay,
Instagram.
but that's a delay?
Yeah,
delay, yeah.
slight delay.
Okay.
But not a crazy delay. Okay, everybody, on Instagram, I apologize. We'll post a different one. So let me start new, fresh. Eric, do you need a drink of water?
Ooh,
We'll do it
Don't mind
together.
if I do.
Yeah, that's the AIS mug, our biggest,
that's a good one.
I would say our biggest hit phrase.
What's the rule on cursing? Do we try to keep cursing to a minimum?
I curse zero.
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 What about guests?
Go crazy, but.
No, I'm gonna keep it clean.
Yeah, well, you want to have a civility. So, and I think that's everyone's Raymond. We were very civil. All
Oh
right.
yeah, you were on CBS.
True. Which will go on the inside. Now, I'm going to start here, Eric, all right?
Great.
Tom Caldabiano here. Hi, writer on Ever's Raymond. Unofficial photographer. I took 30,000 behind the scenes photos. I'm saying this for people who have never seen me and go, that's not Raymond. I'm sitting next to Eric. Eric, pronounce your last name.
Pankowski.
And correctly now? Oh, no, that is correct. Okay. So, Eric Pankowski is the executive producer of the 30-year reunion special that aired on CBS on November 24th. It was a long time coming. We're going to find out a little bit about Eric, but that special was such a hit that it was the highest rated special of the year on what's known as television,
Yes,
correct?
that
So
old thing.
that's good bragging rights. And they did something, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. They aired it again in its entirety 4 days later. I have never heard of that in my life.
Yeah, they
Have
didn't
you?
plan on it. The plan was it would only air once.
Right, like a
So-
normal program.
Yeah, but because of, I'm sure the people that are watching this and the fans of Raymond, it was such a hit that they knew, there's a bigger audience for this. So they put it on again.
On Friday.
4 days later.
4
yeah.
days later. So, folks, for those of you that are just joining, we do have a big audience that's around the. And again, those of you on Instagram, sorry, we
Go to Facebook.
Go to Facebook. Yeah, you're just looking at like, does the canister talk now? And yes, that is the canister.
I mean, I could,
You could be in frame for a lot of it, right?
But
That
then
would
you
less
wouldn't
work.
be.
But that's fine. I'd rather you be in frame because you're going to
okay,
do
we're
most
going to
of the
get
talking.
close.
You're going to do most of the talking. So, I'm trying to share this because we have an Australian audience, we have a British audience, we have German audience, etc. So sometimes we get too far inside baseball.
Right.
So CBS is a broadcast network. It was where Everett Raymond appeared to begin with in 1996 to 2005. So this 30-year reunion special to air on a Monday and then again on a Friday, it's just almost incomprehensible because the audience would go, why would I want to watch that? Their thinking for CBS is, holy moly, such good feedback, such high rating. So many people are going to be like, I didn't see it. Can I see it on broadcast TV? Now, it's also on something called Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus, you can watch it at any point, okay? So this success, Eric, for you,
yes.
it has to be maybe one of your most viewed, because we're going to hear a little about your career and stuff, but probably one of the most viewed things you've
Sure.
done?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been amazing, but it's humbling to work on a project like this, that you're coming into something that already is fully baked.
Right.
That's an interesting dynamic to come into, and I did it a little bit, and I know we'll talk about it, but I do a show called Carpool Karaoke, and it had already been established by James Corden and Ben Winston, his producer, and then I came in and helped build it bigger, and we sold a show to Apple, but coming into something that was already established, the first thing you want to do is not screw it up. That's like the first thing. You just don't want to mess it up.
You mean, so it's funny that you say that because you're thinking, for those of you who are old enough, it's like, hey, what about those Brady Bunch shows after the Brady Bunch? We try not to talk about them.
Right,
So
exactly.
for this, I never thought about it because I know, and we'll get into the details, I know Phil and Ray are involved in a big way, and for it, there's always the potential for it to go left, but
Sure.
in the spirit of what the show was, because, and again, not to pick on the Brady Bunch, they were during the 70s when they were doing these variety shows, so they had dancing and and you're
Right.
watching the Brady Bunch because you like the family situation. So for Everett Raymond, yes, if you came in and like, listen, you guys like the Rockettes, you like Radio City, I think we can do a big dance number with
Right.
Patricia Heaton. It might have been like, oh, okay, yeah, that really went south. But sticking to the core of the show, and I think that was your challenge.
100%. And just, you want to do right by it. I mean, you're coming into something that has tens of millions of fans. And the thing you want to do is give them something that does the show justice and does their fandom justice.
Yeah.
And I take that really seriously, and it was really important to me. You and I talked really early in the process, and it was really important to me that when you watched the show, by the end of it, you thought, that feels like it fits with what I know of the show.
Yeah.
That it's obviously not an episode of the show, but it just fits alongside of it as a complementary piece. That was my number one goal.
And so, mission accomplished. I was going to say, so let me just address some of the questions
Sure.
here. And again,
Let's do it.
for those who are on Instagram, you go, what happened to Tom? We're favoring Eric a little bit. Now we're back to Tom.
Wait, real quick, I just see somebody saying, I love Carpool Karaoke. That is where Zooey Deschanel and Jonathan Scott met. Yes, That was my idea to do that show. I wanted to do sisters and brothers in a carpool, and they had never met before, and they fell in love on our show, and they're engaged. And I feel like I need more credit for that. And I've told Jonathan
Yeah.
and Zoe, I better get a wedding invite when it comes. I mean, I should get a wedding invite for that, don't you think?
Well, with this attitude, I see why they backed off a notch.
Fair.
Okay, so let me catch up. So bizarrely, and I told you before, I was meeting with a friend yesterday. He was going to Zoe's Christmas party. So I don't, you.
I did not get an invite.
Okay,
to that.
we'll talk. Yeah, maybe there's a personality thing going on. Okay, so let me catch up. Let me catch up. So what I can do, I can bring on. So we're going to take a little break to talk to the people. Okay, so I can bring these up. So yes, the canister, right? If you see
Oh, yeah,
anything,
great.
hello from Great
we've
Montana,
talked about
right?
Montana,
We're catching up. Yeah, Mona, one of our friends in. Hi, Tom, Eric, and everybody loves. Happy Hanukkah for those of you who celebrate. And my question is, why wasn't Marco mentioned even in the reunion? I hope he's okay. I loved Marco. Okay, before you answer that, Marco is David Preval. Because I want to kind of go back and hear how you got to this point, okay? And one of the people that know that have been following me for 5 years, I read Desi Arnaz's book, I read Lucille Ball's book, but I'm like, there was over 100 people that worked on the show. And I wish I could talk to them and find out, how did you, because you meet at this point in history where everything seems to come together, at least on Everest Raymond, and there's a lot of terrible and great jobs before then, and a lot of after, you know what I mean? And so
Right.
just, let me cover that real quickly.
Sure.
There were a ton of people on the show. You can answer from your end, but I'm just telling for the people before they start saying, why wasn't, I need to, it's like, when you make a show, you have a broadcast time. So when you made the sitcom, you had 22 minutes and 45 seconds. We had some really, really funny stuff that Phil goes, I had to cut it. And we go, Phil, what are you doing? You're ruining my masterpiece. He's like, yeah, okay. Do you want to pay for more ad time? Would you like to buy $7 million worth of airtime? I'll pass, Phil. Okay, then I had to cut it. So Eric, who has to present for CBS Something to the Second, has to make a lot of hard decisions before production, in the edit bay, and then now he's forced in the court of popular opinion to answer your question. Why was David Preval not there more? Why was Stefania not? All of these questions. So,
Yeah.
and by the way, you can have a lawyer present.
Yeah. Can I cut the lifeline?
Yes.
There is no specific reason why any one person was not included. It killed me in the edit process. Killed me that we did not include. We had a whole thing about guest stars. We had a whole piece on guest stars.
Yeah.
And that piece was probably 3-4 minutes. And then you're cutting the show and you're putting it together and you want to make sure Patty is featured and Brad is featured and Monica and Madeline and, everybody and Sullivan. And then you've got all these other pieces that you want to do. And in the end, we had a cut of the show that was about 8.5 minutes heavy. And we fought, just make it longer.
With CBS.
Yes. Or just put it out on Paramount Plus as longer. But there's inside baseball stuff on why that's difficult to do. Because once we edit the show, then you have to go to a process called coloring the show, where you color correct everything to make it look as good as it can. And you mix the show to make it sound as good. That all costs money. And then it costs money to deliver that show. And no one wanted to pay extra for a show that wasn't going to air on CBS. So those extra 8 minutes, and by the way, it was tough to get down to those 8 minutes. Those 8 minutes just had to come out. So it was a horrible choice. And unfortunately, I had to be the one in the room going, we have to lose that. We have to lose that. We have to get this show to CBS so that it will air. And I'm telling you, I'd lose sleep over it. I'd go home, I live with my girlfriend, and it'd be like 3 a.m, I'd wake up, I'd be like, oh my God, maybe we should put that one back in. What if we put that one back in and lost something in Seg 5? So there's no specific reason. It's not that anybody didn't do a good job. Now, some people were unable to participate in the reunion.
Yeah.
People have lives, and there were only certain days. Like here's another inside baseball thing. In an ideal world, you call up everybody that's on the show,
Yeah. They
and
show
you
up.
say, or you go to them.
Right.
Oh, you're in Montana? We'll go to Montana. Oh, you're in New York? We'll go to New York.
Right.
What day are you available? What time? We'll be there. But you can't because that'll cost a ton of money. So you have to find a day that the majority of people can show up.
Yeah.
And you have to tie that to another day of production. So what we did, as you know, because you were interviewed, was we shot the reunion, and then the next day we shot all the interviews.
Right.
On the set. And we had to convince people to get them to the set that day. And so people that couldn't do that, we couldn't use.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking because there are people who wanted to be part of it. I'll give you another example. So we had one of Ray's brothers in the show, and we interviewed him, but Ray's other brother wanted to be part of the show, and we couldn't interview him because the timing didn't work with his life.
Yeah.
So that was heartbreaking too. Your piece, Tom and I know each other now. We talked in the interview a lot, and then it gets to the edit, and I'm telling the editor, what about, can we use Tom for this? Oh, but if we use Tom for that, then it means we're losing that person, and that person only has one line. So it's a heartbreaking, difficult process, and one that I did not take lightly, and one that I still feel terrible about on who got left out.
Yeah.
But hopefully, there's a way to rectify that at some point.
What I like the idea of, because now you're sitting next to me, I like the idea of them going, we need to find 8 minutes, and you go, well, cut Tom's interview right away. And like, well, it really sets up the clip. You lose the clip too then. So,
Does anybody mention Tom? Lose that too.
Yes. So I think so that heartfelt thing that you guys just heard, I know the editing process, so I watched the special at Ray's house with Ray and his family, and at the end, I should go back even more. Ray, here's what Ray likes: nothing ever. I don't think he enjoyed Edward Loves Raymond. Maybe season 5, maybe the second Emmy. He goes, I guess it's okay. That's his charm. Also, is that he's not out there going, this is the greatest show ever made. He's more like, really, people like the show? I guess so. I guess so. He told me on the phone before I saw it, he goes, Eric did a great job. And I told Eric that. I go, Eric, I never heard that in my life. And Ray and I wrote a bunch of scripts together, including the only script that he won an Emmy for acting is one that I wrote with Aaron Shore, right? No thank you, no good job, anything. So he says it about Eric. And I told Eric, I go, Eric, it's rare. This isn't like, hey, the fluffy, like, I thought it was good. All right, here's all the problems with it. It was, he really did a good job. And so I think, knowing that edit process, at the end, Ray himself, we finish watching, he loves it, right? He's seen it, obviously, because of the editing thing. At the end, he goes up to the screen, he tries to name everybody that worked on the show, but he goes, Roy Rosegarten is only in there once. And I go, yeah. I said, I'm in there for about 1/10 of a second, to the point where people are like, did you go to the reunion? And I said, I was there. I was
kills
there.
me.
Yeah, well, and I said, Ray, but Rory, because Ray's wife is going, well, I'm only there. I
know.
didn't even have to be in there. She's coming from the opposite. She doesn't need to be on camera at all. And Ray's like, I feel bad because Rory, and I go, but Ray, in editing that you pull one string and then that. And so now it's not just throw in a sentence of random person because I want him to have stage time. It's now like that throws everything off. So now we're speaking very boring inside baseball of the editing process. So
And it's 40, so it was a 90-minute show, which was 66 minutes of content.
Right.
Okay, so break it down, because it is a math problem in the end, right?
Yes.
66
Way to lose
minutes of
more
content,
people. Yeah,
right?
okay.
66 minutes of content. I'll just do it quick.
Yeah.
We shot the reunion for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Now, not all of that is
Rolling.
usable
Yeah,
and
yeah.
rolling, but about 3.5 hours. Well, that's 180 minutes right there. Then you want to show about 20 minutes of clips of the show.
Right.
So take 66 minus 20. Now you're down to only 46 minutes of content. Then the interviews. You want to use some of the interviews to get that. Now, is such a difficult process, and especially when you're doing network television, this is the other difference. When you're doing network TV and it's airing on CBS, you have to go in and out of commercial break. That takes a little bit of time.
Right.
As opposed to just start
Hard
and then
cut.
stop.
Yeah, yeah.
So you lose like another minute or two there.
Yeah.
It is a really, it was the hardest thing on this show, without a doubt, was what stays in and what comes out.
By the way, it's a luxury to have a show where you go, there's so much good stuff. Because usually you're like, well, I'm pretty bored. How do we stretch in this part? And you
Right.
had the opposite problem. So now, let me
right,
just.
more questions,
Let's
yes.
go to questions for a little bit. And thank you for the camera work. I do appreciate it. Okay, hold on. Let me scroll because I have this cursor goes this way and this way. It's hard to, we're looking at two screens, everybody.
Much better on Facebook, says Bart. He's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
Bart, go on Facebook. Everybody, if you're watching on Instagram,
The two-shot.
yeah, go on Facebook.
Which is a bigger audience right now?
Hard to say. Do you want to cheat back to a perfect two-shot, but then we lose me, right?
Yeah, I'll just pan and the Facebook,
We'll have to
Facebook
suffer.
people will suffer.
Yes, so let me do this. Wow, scrolling down, so many questions. Hi, Eric, hi. So,
Hello.
yeah, hi. Yes, go to Facebook. We finally have some snow in town.
Can I answer? Karen asked me if I'm a big ELR fan. No, scroll down.
Scroll down or scroll
down,
up?
Down. Well, I don't see it now. But Karen asked me if I was a big ELR fan.
Okay.
The answer is yes. I watched it when it was on the air originally, loved it, was a huge Ray Romano stand-up fan, loved Ray's stand-up, and have always loved the show. I was a big fan of sitcoms growing up. And it's funny, I don't watch any current sitcoms, and there aren't that many anymore. I mean, it's a dying art form, for sure, especially
Or at
the
least
multicam.
at least a valley, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully. So I was this sounds so arrogant, but like I was a student of sitcoms. I loved them. I would like watch them. I would transcribe on a piece of paper and a pad of paper the dialogue because I just wanted to like feel like I was part of it in a bigger way.
Yeah.
And Raymond was probably the last multicam sitcom that I made sure I watched on a
Okay.
weekly basis.
Yeah.
I got into Veep and Curb and Modern Family and those. But as far as multicam sitcoms go, I believe Raymond was the last one. And I mean, it's the best one. And I don't say that because I'm on this.
You've already been paid
Yes.
for the special, so you're good. Yeah.
But no, there are things about Raymond that I know I don't need to say to this audience.
Yeah.
But for me, that I loved, that I could never articulate as just a fan. When I was just a fan and younger,
Yeah.
I couldn't articulate. As I've gotten older and work in the business, and even talking to you and talking to Phil about it,
Yeah.
the fact that there was only one story in every episode, although
Yeah.
I did point out to Phil, there is one episode where there is a B story.
Let me think. A B story. So for what Eric
It's
is
a
talking
little
about,
bit of a trick.
Okay, what Eric is talking about here, folks, is when you're writing a show, an episode, many sitcoms, like for example Seinfeld, but the majority of sitcoms in
Yeah.
history have an A story and a B story and maybe a C story, different stories going on. And Phil Rosenthal was like, listen, if a story's worth telling, it's worth spending 22 minutes on that.
Yeah.
So we had 0 B stories, but now Eric is about to correct me
Yeah.
that there was 1 B story. Let me think now. What would be a B story?
And like I said, it's a little bit of a trick.
But not a bold-faced lie.
No,
It's
it is not. It is a B story. It is a legitimate B story. And
Okay.
Phil admitted it.
Okay.
Is anybody here guessing?
Not Lucky Suit.
Nope.
I'm trying to think.
I don't think you'll get it because you won't even think about this episode that way.
Cruising with Marie. Trying to think of where there's. So a B story should technically not be connected, although, for example, Seinfeld, they would bring
it
them
all
together at the end. So a B story is, Frank and Marie are doing their thing, and now completely separate. It could stand alone. Is a Ray and Deborah story. I don't know. I don't want to waste time.
Okay.
Also, so do you want to give me the answer?
Italy.
Italy. Okay. Italy.
Italy, because Brad's story is
Right.
a B story. His romance is a B story.
Yeah, It's
It
a
is.
little, yes, it's a little
More
bit of
so
a-
than anything else in the
Yeah,
show.
yeah. I say it would qualify. I was going to say, let's see if anyone guesses before you say it.
Oh, sorry, I blew it.
This looks like a compliment for you, so let me delete that. The special blend, a reunion format of Crips behind the scenes today. How did you decide on the overall format structure of 90-minute show? Thanks, Deb. We got 5 to 7 inches of snow here in New
Wow.
Jersey.
Wow,
Yes.
I miss the snow.
Yeah.
I can I talk about this a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, at some point, we do want to get into a little bit of your career.
Oh, okay.
Before,
But
Ines,
they
go
don't
ahead.
care about that. They
Well,
want to hear about the
The
show.
carpool, yes, but carpool karaoke is interesting. And then you go, okay, how do you, as an outsider, all of a sudden
Yeah.
get dropped into this world of, that's a big
Let's.
responsibility.
I want to talk about that. So I'll answer that. The format. So part of it was having a conversation with Phil early on, and Phil telling me what was in his mind, which was informed a lot about conversations that you, Phil, and Ray had as
Right.
you were germinating on what could be the reunion and the format.
Yeah.
And the truth is, you guys had already done some stuff together. You did the
Correct.
Paley,
Yeah.
thing. You have done some Q&A together.
Inside the writer's room, we would do a story of Inside the writer's room. And we did a thing for Pop TV, which had been TV Guide
Yes,
television, called
yes.
The Story Behind. Everett
Yes,
Raymond.
which was great, and I watched that as well in leading up to this. So we kind of knew at the beginning how we wanted the stage stuff to go. We knew that, well, there was conversation about who comes out first and how that all happens. I really felt like it was important for Ray to be on stage, and welcome Phil, because I know a lot of people, especially on this, know who Phil Rosenthal is. But there are people like my parents
No
who
clue.
do not know who Phil Rosenthal is. They don't watch Somebody Feed Phil, which they should. It's phenomenal. And I thought that it was really important for Ray to have his moment with the fans both in the room and watching on TV.
Yeah.
And for Ray to allow Phil to have his moment.
Yes.
And Ray introducing Phil and saying that he's been my partner on this and it's been his baby was beautiful. So I loved each one, and I'll share this story too. I used to run creative for World Wrestling Entertainment. That is a part of my
Okay.
career. And Vince McMahon used to say, you put two people in the spotlight, it doesn't shine as bright on either of them. And Vince did a lot of things that I would not recommend learning from, but that one I did take seriously. And he's right. Like, the spotlight's meant for one person, and if you can shine it on one person at a time, it shines brighter.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of that format at the top. And then we knew we wanted to bring out Patty, bring out Brad, bring out Monica, bring out the kids. And we knew we wanted to do a tribute to Doris and Peter. And I felt like you got to get the majority of the cast out before you do that tribute so you can talk about them and have
Yeah.
the people that worked with them the most. And then I also thought that there was a whole other layer that we needed to do, which was interviewing other people that were involved in the show. A casting person, guest stars,
Yeah.
writers, producers like Rory, and get insight on various things. And as I was rewatching the episodes, and I probably rewatched from the time I knew I was doing this show to the time we shot it, I probably rewatched 150 of the episodes.
Okay. Of the 210.
Yes.
That's a lot of time.
It was a lot of time, but you know what? It is great watching them on Paramount Plus. No commercial breaks. They're only 22 minutes. You
Yes.
just roll. It's
It's-
so fun. It's such an easy show to watch. As I watched it, I was taking notes. Obviously, we wanted to talk about some classic episodes, which we did, and we let the cast kind of drive that.
Right.
But as I was watching it and looking at it more from a producer, I was trying to think in my head, what connects these episodes? What are the themes that exist in a lot of episodes?
Yeah.
Food was one. I found
A big connector. By the way,
Huge.
Eric, I am cheating to camera, and it's
Oh,
not
okay.
because I don't want to talk to
Yes.
you. Like, if it seems
Yes.
like, hey, Tom's not even looking
No,
me in the
I
eye.
feel great about
Yeah,
it. I'm used to this. My girlfriend never looks at me when we talk.
Yeah, so I'm, for the folks at home, I'm cheating at camera because.
Do you want me cheating for camera?
Well, just a little bit when
Okay,
you're
sure.
talking. Yeah, it's better for your.
Great.
And I don't know what this camera, I don't know what Omar's
Yeah, which one
camera.
should I look at? The,
Well,
the two?
this one is
Okay.
our live feed.
So,
Because this will be in post. Yeah.
So food was a connector that I knew was a big deal, obviously, to Phil. But there's food. We had a list, and we had producers that would, in each episode as we watched them, tick off what category is being hit. And so some of the categories were food, physical comedy, Because here's the thing about physical comedy that I loved. There has been, over the course of the 30-year history of the show, a ton of talk from you guys and from Phil and from Ray about how the show was written. We all know it's based on reality, and I wanted to focus on that as well. I knew I wanted to touch that. And it is such a writer's show. One story, like we talked about,
Yep.
and Phil coming from the theater, it is a play. I mean, this show, more than most, is a stage play. So it's a writer's medium, and then great performers, obviously. But the physical comedy, to me, was so impactful because it was such a densely written and importantly written show. So you had both ends of the comedy spectrum, really smart comedy and then be silly and ridiculous
Yeah.
with physical comedy. If you have a show that's just goofy on the surface, the physical comedy doesn't hit as much. But this one was perfect, so I wanted to talk about physical comedy. I wanted to talk about food. Guest stars was another one that we talked about that just unfortunately didn't make the cut. Wanted to talk about the family feel.
Yeah.
That family obviously connects everything. The show is based on family. Ray's family, Phil's family, everybody's family that worked on the show was part of the overall production of the show.
Yeah.
So many people's families were in the show, and friends, were in the show. So I wanted to focus on those things. And I thought the best way to do that was have all these writers and other people talk about them and intersperse clips and use those as packages throughout the show. We knew we had this great outtake reel that we wanted to show, second take reel.
Yeah.
We did that at the end of the show. So that's kind of how we started figuring out the structure of the show. Sorry, that was a long answer to a simple question.
No, but that's by the way, once you have this successful thing that happened, you talk about it endlessly. There recently, for those overseas, there was a big World Series that happened. And for the Dodgers, we have a
Yeah.
big Canadian fan base, so I hate to bring up this, but it was such a stunning thing. It's just like, I always reference the Beatles, like, are we ever going to stop talking about the Beatles? Probably not.
Probably not.
You know what I mean? Like, probably not.
Yeah, and can I just say something too about the success of it? Because the success of the reunion show,
Yeah.
I'm talking about like tangible success, the viewership,
Right.
is due to two things. And neither of them have anything to do with me.
Payola,
And that is the truth.
Payola and
It has to do with the people watching this.
Right.
It has to do with the fans that have kept the show alive on all the places that you can watch it. And it's you and Phil and Aaron and Cindy and Patty, and I
Yeah,
could
yeah.
name everybody. Everybody that worked on the show. On a one-episode reunion, how good or bad the reunion is
Yeah.
doesn't really impact the ratings, because it would impact the second one,
Secondary,
the
yes.
second
Yeah, yeah,
episode.
yeah, yeah.
But the first episode, the special, was about, this is still a show held near and dear to people's hearts.
Yeah.
The fans care about it. It's still relevant. People want to get more of what they got from you and Phil and Ray and all the writers and producers and actors. And I was just lucky to be on that ride. So the success of the reunion, when you were talking about it before, and Ray talking about that
You did
he
a
was
good
happy
job.
with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I appreciate that immensely. But I'm not foolish enough to think that the reason they watched was because of that. You guys watched because you love Raymond, and I am just happy that you left it happy. That's really it. I wanted it to do you justice,
Yeah.
the fans. And so I just wanted to say that.
by the way, it's an astute observation just about the contrast between the seriousness kind of the show as a comedy and that physical comedy
Yes,
thing.
yes.
So, I think off of Deb's question there about were you a fan of the show, it shows. Yeah, it obviously shows, because you could have been not a fan of the show and been tasked like, okay, let me produce this, and I think we can go back and get into like the history of this, but it shows, and I think we can get more into very specifics about the reunion, but good job. Take the compliment from Ray.
I will take it.
Don't look for another
Gladly.
one. Yeah. So let's go. Yeah,
Yeah.
Now we'll go back to question time. Let's see. If you see any questions, so I can.
Can you share any memorable, your there it is, this one.
Sorry.
But when you put your cursor on
Oh,
it, it hides
I
it.
see. Eric, can you?
Oh, there we go.
Any memories behind the scenes moments during the filming of the reunion? that didn't make
Yeah.
the final. Well,
I mean, there's tons.
it's tons.
Well, there's tons of stuff that happened that didn't. I will tell you something funny that happened. When we would go to commercial break, I would come up and talk to Ray and Phil about just reminding them about what was going to happen next, what segment were we going to,
Yeah.
just to prod them about what's happening, and maybe talk to Patty and
Yeah.
Brad and anybody up there. And at one point, Ray goes, I got to go to the back. And I'm like, oh, he's probably got to go to the bathroom. And he's like, come on. And I just walk back with him. And he just kind of leisurely walks to the back and goes to the dressing room. And he's like, I think my blood sugar's low. And he starts eating cookies. And we're eating cookies. He's eating. I'm not eating cookies. I'm nervous because we got a room full of people.
Oh, you have a show going. Yeah.
And I'm like, how long are we going to be back here? But Ray, what I loved about it, he was so
Nonchalant.
and peaceful.
Yeah.
He was not nervous. He was there were a lot of nerves leading into this for everybody.
Yeah.
And he was so happy with how it was going, I think, that he was just kind of soaking in the moment. But at a certain point, I'm like, all right, should we get back out there and do,
Yeah.
the next half of the show?
Yeah.
So I thought that was something
What,
funny.
what were the cookies that he ate? Because
They were in a bag. I don't know what
that's
cookies.
funny.
I
That
don't know
he,
where the-
yeah, we'll have to ask. So, I think for those of you, let me share a little bit
Yeah.
for the insights of what Eric is referring to, the filming. It was filmed on a soundstage at CBS Television City, which is no longer called that because they sold it. But it's a storied historical building. And they had 120 people in the audience on the Raymond stage on stage 5. We had 200 people in the audience. So it was a smaller crowd. It was mostly made up of super fans. And it was, for us, for those of us who worked on the show, it was a very bizarre standing back, going back in time. Like it was, when anybody walked on that set, it was instant tears. But you weren't counting, you weren't like, boy, this is going to be sad. Or it was just an overwhelming of emotion. It was like all of a sudden, seeing everyone from your high school class who you liked standing there in front of you, like it was bizarre,
Right.
overwhelming emotion.
I can't. Yeah, that was watching that play
Yeah.
out because obviously I wasn't part of that. I wasn't part of the reunion.
Right.
I was the guy crashing the reunion.
Yes.
And so seeing that though, and seeing people embrace and
Yeah.
hug and talk, it was really sweet and emotional. to
So
watch.
I'm going to bring up something. Let me just check a few.
Yeah.
Let me check a few questions here. But I'm going to bring up something to
What
so
happened?
with Marco, yeah, no,
We
he
already
was not
talked
there.
about-
David Praval wasn't there, and I don't know.
What was the biggest challenge in getting the reunion off the ground, especially after previous attempts? Well, I'll be honest with you. I can't answer that because.
I can.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
I mean, to me, they came to me once CBS had already agreed, when you guys had done the hard work of getting CBS to agree to do it.
Yeah.
So for me, once I jumped on board, everybody was gung-ho about it. Everybody was supportive, and
Yeah, you came in when yeah.
I didn't have to deal with any of the
So here's
heartache.
so Donnell, one of our biggest fans, who can identify episodes by the toys on the couch, she asked, "Can we get a director's cut of the reunion?" Okay, so Eric, if
Yeah.
I were to offer you some cash, and I'm not going to say the amount of cash,
Well.
is there any way we can invite everybody over to your house or Edit Bay to watch the 7 hours of content you probably have? Because let me just tell you.
I mean, you can't say you're not going to tell me the money. I mean,
I see.
I
So
mean,
there is a price.
Of course,
Now
there's a price.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
So for everybody that wants to know, just so you understand the scope of it, what Eric said, the filming on the big reunion day was about 3 hours of filming. Now there's a couple of breaks, like let's say Eric and Ray do a cookie break, which you don't really factor into stuff. So there's that, but there's 3 hours of that content. Then Eric interviewed a ton of people. We mentioned Alex Meneses because she's one of the favorite characters, and she wasn't in the cut. So Eric sat with her for 30 minutes. He sat with me.
You saying
for-
it hurts me.
Yes.
You saying it hurts my
takes-
soul.
I think you should, yeah. I think you should feel that pain. So I think he interviewed me for 30 minutes, and he interviewed a ton of people for 30 minutes. So he has all of that in the can, which when and wound up being in the edit bay, like, okay, this services that for 3, we have 30 seconds of that helps us with the next clip. That means there's 29 minutes that are sitting in the can that no one has seen. So just so you guys know, there is a lot of stuff. Now, having said that, and I say this now in a kind of humble way, over time, the innocuous interview, meaning if you had this boring interview that doesn't fit into some sequence of John Lennon sitting there talking, but you're like, well, only this much service. Now it's like, holy moly, if I could watch just John Lennon sitting there and he's talking about
Right,
whatever.
right.
So that, for Eric, who has to deliver it, and what he said is all the parameters of, for a CBS network show, there's so many parameters going on. And it's not just Eric going, I think I'll air this. There's other eyeballs. There's Phil, there's Ray,
Oh, for
there's
sure.
producers, there's CBS going, there's all these other things. Having said that, if we come up with a collection and a dollar amount, is there any way people could see more of that footage someday?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So we'll-
And I will say this, Tom.
yeah,
I hated that we had to get rid of a bunch of this stuff.
yeah,
I hated that some people weren't able to be in it.
right,
And I would just say, it's really good content,
yes,
and really good content finds a way to live,
okay.
and I would just stay tuned.
If there was, interesting. All right, let's go back to questions. Here we go. Karen Giacalone, who came up to, Phil and I were in Texas together, and all of a sudden I heard, Phil, Tom, and she was a
Right.
fan here. I can't even imagine the stress of having to make the decision on what to cut. Don't make Eric feel better. Don't make Eric feel
It'd be
better
so
at
worse.
all. Let's see. Hi, thank you for coming. Interview. Dick Van Dyke is such an unexpected treat. Thank you for coming on to interview. Dick Van Dyke is such an that seems like a non sequitur.
Yeah,
would call
I
that.
know.
Have you met Dick Van Dyke?
Never,
Okay,
no.
so I will post a picture of Dick Van Dyke. I wrote a joke for Allison Janney because she was doing a presentation for Carol Burnett. And so Carol Burnett.
Love Allison
Yeah, so
Janney.
then.
Love Carol
Carol
Burnett.
Burnett liked the joke that I wrote, and Allison Janney, being a very nice person, because when you're a writer, it's very uncouth, and on Raymond, we wouldn't do that. It'd be like, that was my joke, everybody.
Right.
In the stands, that was my, you just didn't do that in general. But Allison didn't have to say to Carol Burnett, oh, that's my friend Tom.
Right.
And so she invited me to Musso and Frank's, and so I sat with Carol Burnett and,
Oh, my
and
God.
Allison, and Dick Van Dyke was there.
Amazing.
And he was also at Bob Newhart's funeral, where I was with Raymond and Judd Apatow, and she was on Friends, the blonde girl on Friends. A
Lisa
lovely
Kudrow?
That's
Yes.
Yes.
By the way, the
Yes.
Carol Burnett show
Yes.
shot at CBS TV City on the stage that we shot the reunion at.
Surreal. So for those of you again that are, it's too much to talk about.
Yeah,
but
it is.
we filmed the reunion special at CBS Television City, and Carol Burnett, Carol Burnett did a live show, folks. That was legendary. I have to take into account people in Australia and
Yeah.
the UK might not know who she is, but it's
Comedy legend.
Yeah, it's about as legendary as you can have it. So, okay, here we go, question time. I have, a lot of questions about that. I have Paramount Plus in Canada. It's not on Paramount Plus, so I watched it on CBS twice. Interesting. Who interviewed Dick Van Dyke, when and where? Yeah, we don't know
I
that.
don't know.
That was a non sequitur.
Mona's got one.
Okay, Mona, Eric,
Yeah.
everything that was cut out, do you think that a YouTube could be put up with everything that was cut out, which certainly would make it more than 90 minutes, but we can see
Yeah.
everything. Should we say also, Eric did not pay for this footage?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Eric-
I can't
yes.
just do it.
Yes. So-
it's
right,
it's
right.
not
So-
owned by me alone or
So,
Tom.
Well, let's say this. Let's say we collect $100,000 here.
Yeah,
And I hand it out to
we'll
Eric.
figure it out.
Yeah, and then Eric goes, I haven't heard from Eric. We got the footage and everything. And then we read, oh, there's a warrant for Eric's arrest because he sold footage that he did not own.
Yeah.
And so that's what would happen. So folks, I know he's speaking personally, but he doesn't, Eric, you just need to come over to Montana for the Cowboy Experience.
Yes, you're right.
Is that, that's an invite. I guess that would be an
Yes,
invite.
I will.
yeah.
We'll follow up.
Okay, we need housing for him.
How did
and so
you-
managed to get the main cast members together again, considering everybody's together? Okay.
Great question.
So, let me just go back a little. Let me just take a break for everybody. All of our camera crew, did we check the bread? Did we open the oven door on the bread?
I did.
Okay.
I
okay.
did a 10-minute mental.
Okay, you can pull it out and taste it too if you want. So for those
Is this
of
a
you,
common thing? Do you make bread for each episode?
I don't. So I make bread every day. For those of you watching,
Really?
Eric, yeah. I've made bread every day for 20 years, and I make bread here. Yeah. So, so I have that smell you're smelling is fresh bread. I did not offer it to you because
Yeah,
I did not
nice.
want to until we got to see what the money is to get all this footage on YouTube.
How about
for
just
our
the
fans.
bread for the footage?
Okay. Well, then we're whatever. Okay. We all concur with Ray. Eric did a tremendous
Aw,
job.
thank you.
Okay.
Who's that, Donnell?
That's Donnell, who's our
Thank you,
one
Donnell.
of our.
That's really sweet
I
of
have
you.
to go to Donnell sometimes to figure out. Like I have proof sheets, and I go, "What is this episode from?" Because there's a couple that escaped being written when we
Right.
did the book, and I post it, and usually Donnell can tell
How about
me.
this one from Karen about what was your favorite moment in the reunion?
Let's bring that up.
You
Go
got
ahead.
one?
Yeah, I do.
Go for it.
And it
Over
was
here.
surprising. So again, let me just go back for the people who are going, who are these two knuckleheads?
Yeah.
Well,
just one of them.
Okay. Tom Caltabiano here and Eric Pinkowski, who he was the executive producer of the official title, but he basically put together the 30-year Everett Raymond reunion show. And so we are talking about all things of the 30-year reunion. And as I stated earlier, I watched the reunion in Ray's house. I knew almost everything that was coming down the pike for the reunion, but the one thing that I was like, well, this is tremendous. And it was a little weird because I was sitting next to them was the segment with Ray's kids when they were doing the impression of Ray.
Yes.
Because it's not, I know the show inside and out. You're not going to surprise me with like, oh, I didn't know that fact. But the boys doing their Ray impression was so heartfelt and funny and edited beautifully. I was like, oh, didn't see that coming. That was awesome.
That's great. I love that too. My favorite moment, I am going to pick two. Ray getting choked up talking about Peter in the pilot episode, where he's talking about the piece of advice that Peter gave him.
Sure.
I thought was really sweet.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ray expected to get emotional in this. I think he thought it was going to be fun.
Yeah.
But I don't think he thought he would get emotional, and that choked him up. I thought that was a really nice, sweet moment. And I am going to do a second one. Seeing everybody come out on that stage when we did the outtakes, right before the outtakes at the end of the show,
Yeah.
was beautiful. It was just seeing all the people, stage people, set people, editors, writers, crew, actors, hugging. It was just a really sweet moment
Yeah.
to be able to witness.
Yeah.
And so those are my two favorite.
Awesome. And that was Phil's idea to have everyone come out. And when he said that on an early on meeting, all I thought in my head is like, how the heck are you going to pay for how is the production company that does this? They're going to hear that and go, what about 4 key people, maybe? Because everything, there's what you dream and there's the execution. And even when we were doing Everett Raymond, Phil would go, there would be a script, and the line producer would come in and go, Lisa Helfrich would come in and go, Phil, so the how, because they have all these parameters on their back, just like what Eric's saying, I have to deliver this to time. So the thing of like, it should be Stefania, and I want to see this and this, and everybody's skipping to happiness, and Eric's like, okay, but I have this crushing demands on me. So the line producer would come in and go, Phil, the house that has to come through, the car has to come through the house. Does it have to come all the way through? Yes, of course, just build it in front, do that. Okay, I'll be back, because all of that is going to come out of the budget somewhere. So another episode will happen. All right,
Bread is
completed
being
thought.
built.
Yeah, here, let me see.
What kind of bread is this?
It's sourdough bread. Yeah, so this is sourdough bread that I make every day. Can you eat gluten?
I'm going to.
Okay.
I'm super
so,
gluten.
so here we go, folks. I usually taste something from the canister, which I might still. It's still warm. Oh, okay. So, if we give it a rating, here, I'm going to, by the way, look at the crust. Okay, let me see if I can hold
Is
that
this
crust
everything but the bagel seasoning on top?
up. You are correct.
Excellent.
That I make myself, but it's in a thing. So, what I started to do, because it's hard when you're chewing, I started making bread around 2005. John Manfrotati, who played Gianni on the show.
Another person who did not make the reunion.
Right. Well, he was there, but didn't. Yeah.
Didn't make the
So-
final cut. We interviewed him, and he
Yeah.
was really great.
Yep.
And he had a great story. Anyway.
Yeah. So I like that Eric, till his dying day, like shoots out of bed at 3 a.m. Johnny interview.
It would have been better if we put this in.
Yes. So I started making bread. John Manfrolotti said to me, this is a tangent, but I think it's important to, if we're going to bore people completely with your stories, I might as well jump in. So John was going to come to my house. He goes, let's make pizza. We'll make pizza dough. And for me, being a normal guy who doesn't cook, I said, okay, but that sounds like making gold out of straw. Like what do we do? It's like flour and then it magically becomes dough. And I know for those of you that make bread all the time, you're like, are you that?
Right.
Grow up on an
Flour,
island or
water,
something? Yeah,
yeast.
flour, yeast. So then we started making pizza as a night out. We'd make
Great.
pizza. And then I said around, because I don't know if you've ever been to Hollywood, but I said in about 2005, because Hollywood is so, on any level. And
You think I've never been to Hollywood?
well, you know,
I
you
live
seem
here.
naive. You seem naive. But to make it in Hollywood, I don't care if you're Brad Pitt. I don't care if you're Ray Romano, Phil Rosenthal. It's nonstop frustration. So the most successful people, you're pitching all the time, and stuff does not get made.
Yes.
So on any level, I remember Angelina Jolie had to go in with reading about it with a pitch deck for the movie she wanted, because people from the outside go, wait, Ray Romano says, let's do a special. 2 days later, they greenlight it, okay? And for those of you, I'll tell the whole story, but it's about 6 years in the making to do the thing that Eric ended up doing beautifully. So with bread, I said, every day, I will make bread. And nobody's going to say, nice try, Tom, you're done. And it'll get better every day. It's a very Zen type of thing. So I'm like, it will get better every day. So now,
It's awesome.
years later, the key grip from Raymond, we photographed everything. We did the whole process of starting the starter and all that stuff. But now I grind my old wheat. I make it on
Really?
autopilot. I do it every single night. I make the dough or 2 nights before. And then every single morning, I bake at least 2 loaves. And so,
Amazing.
yeah.
I would give that like a 9.4 bread.
See?
9.4
You've seen
bread.
some. Okay, let me see. It's good.
I like that the crust is crunchy
Yeah.
because I need crunch. I like
Yeah.
the crunch, but the inside is soft and moist, but not underdone. It is just soft and moist.
That's the olive oil talking. And also, I smell vodka on your breath, so that could be that also, Eric. I don't even know.
I hear somebody saying what I'm hearing is, Annabelle, go right
Okay.
there. Annabelle saying what I'm hearing is we need an Everybody Loves Raymond 30th anniversary reunion part 2.
Get on that.
I agree.
Okay, Eric. Put in your personal money this time, not the millions that CBS put up. So Annabelle is one of our only fans who held the canister on the set on the original broadcast.
Wow.
And she came to the final episode and many other episodes.
That's
She's in
great.
Connecticut. Yeah. So I have there. Okay, let me scroll to the bottom. Just oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh
there's
my
so much.
gosh.
That's great.
Okay, I'm gonna do this. Can you bring back those actors on your live podcast that we can all hear the interviews that didn't get out? Wow, they just want this information. Can you bring?
Ellen wants part 2.
Okay, Tom, please. You're eating that delicious bread in front of your viewers here. Sorry, Deb, I can't give it to you. I missed a few, especially the Andy character. Yes,
I agree.
I said this before and would say it again that the cast seemed like such genuine, caring, good people.
Can I talk about that for a second? Because you've known these people for 30 years.
Yes.
I have not.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, you're newly introduced.
I had met Ray Romano once
Okay.
on the Arsenio Hall show. I was the executive producer of the Arsenio Hall reboot.
Wow.
The reboot
Okay.
that didn't do that great.
Oh, the reboot. Okay.
And Ray came on as a guest, and I wanted to do something very specific with Ray. I had this idea that it would be a funny bit to do stand-up swap,
oh, great idea.
right?
Yeah, great idea.
Especially if the two people were totally different.
Yeah.
So Arsenio Hall,
Yes.
who did a lot of comedy back in the day about his African-American background,
Right.
and Ray would do a lot of comedy about his Italian-American background.
Perfect.
Give them each other's bits.
Yeah.
And they stand next to each other on the stage, and they did it.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious.
Oh,
it
my God.
killed. It was an awesome
Yeah.
segment. So I met him only that one time, nothing
Okay.
social. And I had met Brad Garrett because I was at CBS as an executive doing development and programming in 2000, I want to say 14, 15.
Oh, okay.
And Brad was pitching a talk show.
Okay.
And I took the meeting with Brad and thought it was hysterical.
Yeah.
And I was a fan of Brad's.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
And so I wanted the meeting. And I was like, Brad, there's just no way that they'll let you do a daytime talk show.
Daytime.
It was
Brad was
daytime. No,
okay,
daytime.
okay.
Like not nighttime, yes. But Brad is, if you've seen Brad stand up, Brad is not the, let's call it safe for all ages character that he was on the Raymond show.
Yeah, so
He works a little bluer.
yeah, so I always warn people when they're like, I'm going to go see Brad at his stand-up comedy club. I go, oh, okay, so
It's
here's
not
what-
Robert.
Here's what you need to know: it's not Robert, and he's going to offend a lot of people, but hopefully not you. And also, he's one of the funniest people on the planet. So there's nobody who I'd rather just, hear talking to an audience than
Right.
Brad. And I will say this behind the scenes, everybody. When Ray and Brad would go on tour together, there would be a problem of, and this is it's a good problem to have, Brad could be too funny interacting with the crowd. Ray is one of the most bulletproof stand-up comedians I've ever, seen. So
agree.
he could work at here's the late show at the Improv. Here's a all woman's, mothers of twins. Here's a prop. Like, he would not bomb. He could follow anybody. So it's not a matter of.
I hate to be a Jewish mother here
Yes,
for a second.
yes.
You have a little bit of bread
Oh,
on your lip, but I
let
want
me see.
Yep, you got it.
Hopefully my angle. By
Yeah.
the way, this is now my good two shot for future. Okay, great.
So you were saying
So then this is good. We can-
you tell
yeah.
Brad, you tell people, be careful when you're going to see Brad.
I just give a warning because some people
Yeah.
walk out and go, "That was not Robert Barone."
Right, he's not.
I cannot. So now you pitch. So you've met Brad.
So I had met Brad. I had not met Patty. I had not met Sullivan or Maddie. I had not met a lot of the writers. I had not met Phil.
Oh, okay.
And so when this process started, the first person I talked to was Phil on the phone. I think we then did a Zoom. Then I did have a meeting with Ray and Phil, a lunch. And it was
Yeah.
great because what I
Did you have
realized
falafels, or
we did
what-
have falafel.
Okay.
What I realized is these are just two really good guys. Like
Yeah.
these are good guys that care deeply about this show. It means a lot to them. And they were just good people. And I've worked in this business for a long time. I did Carpool Karaoke, where you work with a lot of celebrities. And by the way, Carpool Karaoke is the reason I got this job.
I was going to
Because,
ask you that.
yeah, Fullwell, which is the production company that produced the show, who I worked for,
Right.
Fullwell is the producer of Carpool Karaoke. So I have a really good relationship with Fullwell. And when this show came finally to be, which by the way, it's one of those like overnight successes over 6 years.
Yes.
You've been trying to build it and make it and make it. And
Yeah.
then finally CBS says, go, go, go. We need it for
Wednesday.
November.
We need
Yeah.
a Wednesday.
And I have done a lot of stuff with Fullwell, the production company, including Carpool, and some other things that were on quick turnarounds. So they called me and said, would you be interested in this? And I jumped at it.
Other things that needed quick turnaround. So I don't want to derail
Yeah.
your story, but we'll get back to that. The irony of ironies, folks, is what very much happens in show business, and it happens in movies a lot, where it's like, we were trying to sell this script for 10 years, and we got a green light, and then this talent person said yes, so we got the right piece of talent there, the right star, and when do we have to deliver it by? It has to be ready in, can you film it in 6 weeks?
Right.
But we've been waiting for 10 years. Now you need us to, like, could you have given us 6? So for you, that's what happened. That's what happened.
100%.
Yeah.
And of course, I said yes. I'm from the school of yes, we can make it happen.
Foolish decision.
So, so I met Ray and Phil first and had an unbelievable lunch with them and loved it, and a really funny lunch because if you've seen Ray do interviews over the last year or so,
Yes.
he tells this funny story about how now when he goes out, Phil gets recognized more
Yeah.
than Ray.
Oh, yeah.
And we are sitting in the falafel place.
Yes.
And multiple people come up to Phil and want to introduce themselves to Phil. And Ray is sitting directly next to me. Phil's across. And Ray's just looking at me like, you see this? You see, they have no idea that Ray Romano is here. And Ray's having such a good time with it.
Yeah.
Really funny about it. So that was a great meeting. You and I talked a lot. You were definitely the person I talked to the most outside of Ray and Phil.
Right.
And I thought, well, we hit it off right away, which was really great. And also, I should say this, I don't know if you've talked about this, but all the photos that were in the reunion, with the exception of a couple screen grabs that we took, and maybe we licensed a couple Getty photos.
Yeah.
But the vast majority, like 24 of the photos came from Tom, who went through all of his photos and worked with me to give me the right ones and went through probably a couple hundred before we landed on those 20 to 24 pictures. And also the video at the end. By the way, if you ask me my favorite moment, that might be my favorite moment going back.
Yes.
Rich's story, Ray's brother's story about the note that Rich and Robert wrote for Ray before he moved from Long Island to LA to shoot the pilot of Everybody Loves Raymond. And then 9 years later, Ray reading that letter at the wrap party. And Tom had the video and was kind enough to let us use it. That story was probably my favorite moment.
It was. I will say this: that moment, because Ray is not an emotional, like Ray is not a hugger or
Right,
anything,
right.
you know. Because you initially texted me and was like, "Hey, do you have a photo of him holding
Right.
a note?" And I said, "Yes," and I actually have the speech, and he loses it, and you know, emotionally. And then Ray and I remember I said to you, you know, nobody has seen this, including Raymond. Like Raymond has not seen this; he does not know it existed. And I said you should show it to Ray, you know, before whatever. And you said, well, he'll see it tomorrow in the cut. So then that night I got a text from Ray going, hey, does everybody can see this because your logo of ELR 360 Live is on it? And I go, no, it's just, that's built into my editing program. So when I export, I would have to go back and take it out. So when I sent it to Eric, it's in there. And he goes, okay, so everybody's seen it then. I go, no, nobody has seen it. And he said, I don't know if I want that. I know Ray very well. So for those of you watching who haven't seen me before, I met Ray doing stand-up. And when Everett Raymond happened, Ray and I moved out here together because Ray, the previous year, had been fired after one day of working on news radio. So his history was not like, I'm on Everett Raymond, and it's going to be a hit show. His
Right.
like, I'll get a paycheck. I'll be back home within 3 weeks. Tom, come out. You know, maybe you can write on the show, but the show's not going to last. So I know Ray really well. So that night he goes, I don't know if I want that out there for various reasons. And I said to him, it's the most endearing thing. People will love that you're getting emotional because once you become a celebrity, they read about you. They don't have lunch with Ray at the
Right,
falafel
right,
place.
right.
They're like, oh, he's probably some arrogant guy who made a lot of money and he has no heart. And here he is breaking down at this emotional moment.
Yes.
You know, where he has made it. It is coming to that point. And so Ray was like, yeah, okay, the whole thing, you know, so that moment. And I think in the you know, I just want to go back for the timeline that you had to do this under.
Yeah.
Okay. So if Eric had to shoot those interviews, it'd be one thing when you're in the edit bay and you're like, okay, it's not, let me live on that. Let's watch that and
No.
come back to it 2 weeks later. It was like now, airing, color correction, all the stuff. Now, getting back to how we started way back 6 hours ago when
Yeah.
we started this interview, the fact that they repeated it,
Yeah.
and was there any thought of like, make it 3 hours, Eric?
Yes. So after it aired, so it aired on the 22nd, which was a Monday.
It aired on the 24th.
Oh, 24th, okay.
But I want to
Oh,
ask
yeah,
you. Yeah,
right.
I just want to ask you for
Yeah.
your own thing. Where were you when you heard the rate? Because you don't know the ratings.
Yeah.
You don't know if like people are like, we're done with that old show.
I was home in my backyard, which is kind of my home office, and
Do you have a roof or no? You're just at
no,
a
I'm
swing
outside.
set. Okay.
I'm outside. I've got cigars.
Okay.
And there's an overhang, and I got an email almost simultaneously. I got two emails, one from Fulwell,
Yes. The production company.
the production company, and one from somebody that I know in a research division of Warner Brothers, who I said, can you send me the
inside,
ratings?
yeah.
And so they kind of came in simultaneously, and I was like, wow, these numbers are
Astronomical.
bigger. Yeah, they're bigger than anybody expected. Back to the cast for a second.
Yeah.
So, met you, met Ray, met Phil, and was blown away by how genuine and nice everybody was.
Yeah.
And then wanted to do phone calls with Brad and Patty and Maddie,
meet them, okay.
and to Madeline and Sullivan.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to meet them and walk them through what I was thinking about the show and what we collectively were thinking about the show
Yeah.
and how the day would go and build a little bit of a rapport.
Right.
And every single phone call was phenomenal. everybody was so upbeat and happy to help you. Here's my number. Text me if you have any issues. And I stayed in touch with everybody throughout the process. I would send Patty a video in the edit process. Are you okay if I use it this way?
Yeah.
I send it to Brad's people, and Brad, are you okay if we use this? And no one had any issues. They were so pleasant and happy, and so were all the writers that came in.
Yeah.
And the guest stars. Every single person that I worked with on this was so pleasant and easy to work with. I have loved this project more than really virtually everything I've done. And I'm really grateful to Fullwell for thinking of me. I'm
Yeah.
really grateful. And that's Gabe Turner, who was the executive from Fullwell, who oversaw it with Emma Conway, who runs their development. And they were so good to me and to think of me for this, and to Ray and Phil, because ultimately Ray and Phil had to be comfortable with me.
Yeah.
And they gave me the shot. So I've just been so grateful.
By the way,
about it.
you could be, before I forget, the AC, if you guys pump that up, it'll turn off. It just came on. For audio-wise. We'll cut this part out of the
I don't know, this
thing.
seems compelling.
Yeah. So, you could be,
Turn it off?
if you raise, turn it off or raise the temperature, it'll go.
Raise the overall temperature.
Yeah, or So, you could be, right now, we could be, this could have gone a complete different way. And this could
But
be
I wouldn't
you-
be here.
Well, this could be, yes, right. This could be Eric going, do you know the schedule they put, do you know how little time? Here's why it didn't turn out, everybody. And please, let me tell you why Fullwell really put me in a bind. But they obviously went to you because you were, so here's what
Well,
I'll.
you know what, I gotta tell you a funny story. In college, I had a buddy, a roommate, who never did anything ahead of time, okay? Never. I think I might have told you this story before, but
Nope.
he never did anything ahead of time. He would wait to the morning of that a paper had to be delivered, and he would write it that morning, and his name was Derby. And I remember one day we were sitting around the apartment together, and Paul, my other roommate, and I were talking to Derby. And we're like, Derby, he was talking about how he had a class in an hour, he hasn't even written the paper, and he's gonna go do it right now. Derby, why do you wait to the last minute to do this? Why do you wait to the last minute to do everything? And he just looked at us real calmly, and he goes, guys, if you wait to the last minute to do something, it only takes a minute. And, I think there is some of that in what we do in production, that if you only have 3 weeks to do it, and
Yeah.
that's the only way it's going to happen,
Yeah.
you figure out how to do it in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes it affects the quality,
Yeah,
for
that's-
sure. It didn't in this case. I don't believe it did.
No.
I think the fact that it was such a group of people that were willing to come together and sacrifice their schedules and fly. I also want to say this, I'll just say Lorraine Boyle.
Yeah.
Lorraine Boyle, we really wanted Lorraine to be
Yeah.
there. We wanted to recognize her after we did the tribute to Peter. Lorraine flew herself here.
Yeah.
We didn't pay for Lorraine to come here. We didn't have that in the budget.
Yeah.
And Lorraine brought herself here, and it was important for her to be here. And that's how the overwhelming majority. If somebody didn't come, it was because they really could not come.
Make it at the date, yeah.
And so that was just special to be around. And that kind of drove me through the whole process. And the people that I brought onto the project, Aime, who you dealt with, producer, Rachel, everybody loved the show. It was a question I asked. I asked both, did you watch the show?
Oh, okay.
And if they said no, I didn't hire them.
Right.
I wanted people that knew the show, respected the show, loved the show, because then you give more to it.
Yeah.
And we knew there were going to be long hours and long nights
Yeah.
and weekends, and there's nothing to complain about. I mean,
Yeah.
to work on this was a privilege, an absolute privilege.
So I should say, let me go back to a couple more questions,
Sure.
because, let me just see this, okay? We may have to do a two-parter here.
Also, Tom,
Yes, sir.
I think we're not getting power from this, so this camera might cut out, in which case we'll come back in a second.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. That would lose us a lot. So let me if you see any questions, because there's so many. Sorry, I got to leave now. Boy, do you guys talk a lot. No, that's Mona saying a very nice thing. She has to take off. We'll do a two-parter. Christmas holiday ELR universe would be wonderful with the cuts that weren't shown.
Oh.
Maybe CBS could air it before the New
Oh.
Year's or after 2026.
CBS, are you listening?
Say, yeah. I saw a skit on Phil's page about the 3 writing elves. Oh, I saw a skit. Sometimes there's spelling.
right.
3 elves. Were you one of the writers at the beginning that leaves at 6 p.m. so the elves can finish? Yes. So that was with I don't know if you saw it, but
I didn't.
that was with Bob Odenkirk, David Cross, and Brian Posehn, and I
Right.
was sitting at my seat in the writers' room. That was done by not the host, but the comedy writer Mike Rowe. I think maybe for Phil's birthday or something. But they came in. I leave right. There's some swear words in it, so I'm at my position at the writers' room, and a PA, Frank Pines, walks by, writer assistant, and he goes, "Tom, do you need dinner?" And I go, "No, I'm going to take off." So I get off my seat. I turn off the light. I close the door. It goes dark. It comes up again, the light. In walks 3 elves: Bob Odenkirk, David Cross, and Brian Posehn.
Amazing.
Yes, some funny people.
Amazing.
And basically, the gist of the sketch is Phil prides himself that the writers go home early, and Bob
Right.
Odenkirk says they're one of the elves that writes the show, because there's no good show that can be written and you go home early. So it's him, David Cross, writers, they talking like, "What do you have?" And they hold up a piece of paper. This one, the guy just says, Frank comes in and does something funny. "What do you have?" One time, the guy just drew a picture of a sailboat and a question mark, so, and they go on and they just go ballistically angry. David Cross goes, like, "Why do we, Becker has 10 elves, we have 3
Right.
elves, we have to write." So it's a very funny
That's
sketch.
great.
So yes, that was me at the beginning.
That's great.
So nothing worse than describing comedy. Let me see. Didn't Deborah throw the canister into the trash and stomp on it and push it down? The canister doesn't seem to be damaged. Is it the same one? Yes. Hi, Benjamin. Good luck with that. Pisenkin?
I'm not going to try.
Oh, you could have with your
My-
last
no,
name.
my last name.
Well,
I get
Caltabiano
it.
and
Yeah.
Kankowski. That would not be a good law firm. Yes. So just so you know, the canister made about 5 or 6 canisters. The toaster, for example, that's the only one in the world, which is currently at a museum in Long Island. It was at the reunion. Did it make it on the table ever, or the coffee table?
Yes.
So
The canister?
yes,
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
canister, the
No.
toaster.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on at the end of the tribute to Peter and Doris.
Okay, on the coffee table.
Yes.
Maybe. Okay. So, and by the way, this you were asking before about Ray and Phil, as far as like talking to the audience and stuff. When they come on the show here,
Yeah.
I say to Ray and Phil, do not try and remember what ended up in the episode.
Yes.
These people will tell you
Right.
what's in the
That's fair.
episode. So
That's
I
fair.
stopped writing. This is the only time that blah 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 was here, and then 'cause
You
people
see
would
this
correct
one?
me.
I think we need some Everybody Loves Raymond karaoke. You know what?
How about Jungle Love?
We
Wow.
tried getting Ray and Brad to do a carpool karaoke episode. And we came
years ago.
close.
Years
Yes,
ago.
Yes, we came close.
And they said no.
They said no.
So this was your payback.
I'm going to
forced them
try
do a
again.
reunion.
I'm
Yeah.
going to try again.
Let me see.
You want to know something funny
Yes.
from the reunion that
Yes.
didn't happen?
Yes.
Marie Sculpture. Okay?
Marie Sculpture.
So you and I talked about where is it.
Yeah.
We found out that Marie's Sculpture was with Doris, but then after Doris passed, it got sold in an auction.
Right.
And it was purchased by a gentleman in Canada.
Okay.
In rural Canada.
Oh, wow.
And we tracked him down.
Yeah.
And he sent us a picture of where it is. He's got like a shrine
Okay.
to it. He's got some other like hockey trophies and stuff around it.
Yes.
But he said he would ship it to us.
Oh, my goodness.
But
And
it
by
was
the way, it's a very large object.
6.5 feet
Yeah.
tall, I think.
So the canister you can ship. Rhonda Robinson shipped the canister to me, and she said you can keep it for a few weeks. That was 2 years ago. So now you have found it in Canada. That
Yes.
that in itself is a story.
Yes, it's incredible. And we did all the research on how do we get it. We found the shipper, the courier, how do we get it,
Yeah.
how much is it going to cost, and it was going to cost a lot of money. We were thinking about it. And then I can't remember exactly who came up with this idea, but this just shows you that like sometimes what's a good idea in the moment ends up in with fresh eyes and let it sit for a while is not a good idea. We found out about the sculpture and how much it was going to cost to bring. Then we realized that the day we shot the reunion was Peter Boyle's birthday,
October 18th.
right? He would have been 90.
Yeah.
And so we thought, okay. And I asked around, did you guys do any rituals for birthdays? For the cast or crew and stuff? And I was told, yes, they would always wheel out a cake.
Yep.
So I thought, oh, that'll be fun. When do we do it in the show? Let's do like a memorial tribute cake, you know, that everybody comes out and does. And then, again, I'll take the blame for it. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What if we make the cake
Yeah.
Marie sculpture,
Brilliant. Yeah.
right? Let's do one of those crazy cakes, 6.5 feet tall, and it's
Oh,
Marie's.
that big. Oh,
yes.
this, oh, okay. Yeah.
6.5 feet tall. I wanted it to look exactly like Marie's sculpture. And I pitched it around, and everybody's like, that's really funny, that's really funny. And the more we thought about it, digging
Cutting
into that
into it, yeah.
cake, Brad being on stage with it.
Trouble. That's trouble.
Right. And
Right,
we're wanting
yeah.
it to be a tribute, a nice moment. We
Yeah.
thought, you know what? Let's
Yeah.
just recognize Lorraine and say that it was Peter's birthday
Yeah.
and not do the Marie sculpture cake.
Yeah.
But that was like a crazy
Flurry of
like 5 days.
Yeah.
Of like, oh my God, we found the sculpture.
yeah.
Can
Who
we get
make
it?
the cake?
Can we make the cake? We
Right.
found the person to make the cake. How much is that? What part of the sculpture is the cake? Where do you cut into it? How we went through all of that
Yeah.
for it never to exist. And I think we ended up with the right decision.
Probably. I mean, it
is funny.
It would have gotten a lot of airtime. That would lend itself into yeah. You never know, because with social media, those pieces, you know. Because, by the way, you've lived in production, and Carpool Karaoke is the perfect example where in the old days you'd be like, I'm going to do a show. Well, how long is the show? It's either 30 minutes or an hour.
Right.
There is no other. What do you mean, how long is the show? That's what
Right.
it is. So Carpool Karaoke, I think, is the prime. So that I almost said it,
Yeah.
that sculpture cake could have, who knows? But
I know.
I think, here's the thing that you said that I didn't think. Brad Garrett on stage with that sculpture, that is trouble.
That could
is,
be an hour special.
That is trouble. Or they go, well, how much of it could you use?
None
Zero.
of it.
Zero. None of it.
And meanwhile, I had in my head like that the censors afterwards make us cut out a bunch of stuff, but we have this giant cake that's shaped like Marie's
Yes.
sculpture, and we don't know, like we can't even explain it. So, yeah.
Trouble,
Anyway, just
yeah.
from the behind the scenes.
And by the way, just because of that story, what people don't know is that took time, right? That takes time to
Oh
get.
my God, a producer tracking the guy down. We found out what auction house sold it.
Right.
Calling the auction house, making sure we talk to the right person at the auction house, getting them to give us the information on who sold it, tracking that person down, finding contact information, setting up a call with that person, getting all the details, calling a courier, how much does it weigh?
Yeah.
Like, yes, it all takes time, and none of it is used in the show.
Right. And that will go into your book.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Tom, watching you have someone to bounce content of is awesome. You seem less pressured. I like it. Yes. Marie, so
They're saying I make the show better.
That's one way of looking at it. So it's funny because I think I told you the first time Patty Heaton came on here, and I go, Patty, just go live from Instagram. She goes, I'll come to your house, Tom. I go, don't come to my house because I'm happy to have Patty at my house, which, by the way, I bake bread, and I go, Patty, do you want some? She goes, no, I won't. Bring it to David, your husband, the dreaded Parker. She goes, no, he doesn't need any bread. I go, okay. While we're small talking after, she ate half the loaf herself. So, which I have
did
pictures
want
of.
another piece of that bread.
Yeah, we can get it to you.
By the way, can I say something about Patty?
Yes.
Because I had never met Patty before and always marveled at just how good she is.
Yeah.
And everybody on the show is good, but like I think if I had to pick a favorite, like she, and that's a Sophie's choice, but
Yeah.
she just blew me away.
Yeah.
How good she was.
Oh, yeah.
The being the straight guy for Ray and for the craziness around her. She's just such a thoughtful person, and my conversations with her about this show were so great, and she really like gave thought to her favorite moments. That a big part of this process was I went out to every cast member
Yeah.
and had a list of questions for them.
Right.
What are your favorite 3 episodes?
Right.
What are your favorite 3 moments? What are your favorite 3 scenes?
Yeah.
Give me something behind the scenes that you've never talked about.
Yeah.
Give me something that a blooper that happened,
Right.
And then we kind of created a matrix on a document of, okay, Ray and Patty like these 2 shows. They picked both these. I'll give this one to Ray for him to talk about, and Patty will take number 3. But
it.
wait, number 3 is the only one that Brad picked.
says, oh, boy.
So we had to create
Yeah.
that. But in watching the show again too, you just realize the performances in this show, everybody deserved an Emmy every year. They're all so good. It's so funny, it's so authentic, it's warm, and it is the thing I loved about the show when I was younger. The show never went schmaltzy.
Yeah.
Like, it would walk up to a line,
Yeah.
and you think like, oh, is this where they're just going to get overly emotional?
Yeah.
Is this where Frank's character is going to soften?
Soften, yeah.
And then you just hit it
Yeah, yeah.
with some line of comedy, some joke, some out that reminds you, no, this show is never going over the line. It's
Yeah.
never jumping the shark. And it's such a credit to the performers too that they could push it so far, but everybody knew where the line was.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And I think that's, Brenda, here,
yes.
let me.
Is this a new
hold-
loaf?
There's a second loaf. Can you,
Who
is-
ate the other one?
Is the first loaf gone?
Me and Omar.
The crew ate it. Look,
So
this
that's-
thing is beautiful.
yeah.
Let's see if it's as good.
wow.
Now, are you a?
Gift horse in the
Are you
mouth.
a? Do you never do butter, or do you feel like?
Oh, no, I do, but what am I, a bread snob?
Well,
No,
I don't know.
By the way,
I mean-
bread, I eat bread everywhere. Here, so you're going to have to apologize to the audience. And I think, by the way, there's
Now,
that
why
other...
did you put it down? Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah, so it stays moist, so for presentation purposes.
Oh.
By the way, there's that other folding better knife, I think it's out there, the red-handled one.
Butter knife?
Not, well, it would have
Oh.
to be cleaned. Okay.
What else you
So,
got?
we have a ton, but what I want to say,
Yeah, what do you
here,
wanna do?
Karen Jack, yeah, here. When you speak to Ray, please tell him that I would definitely recognize him if I saw him in Phil, and if this ever happens, I promise to go.
Yeah, he would appreciate that.
So let me just tell you for that story, because I've encountered that many times, and I take it a step further with what Eric talked about. For those of you, if you missed it, Ray's talking about how Phil has become famous now in his own right, and Eric, rightfully so, for the reunion specials, like Ray comes out and introduces Phil, because John Q. Public does not know who Phil is. By the way, if there's another water for refilling for, they don't know who Phil is. And I've said this to Ray many times because Phil did a live show in Long Island. And Phil said, can you MC the show? And I said, sure. And Phil doesn't even need an MC, but it's easier to have somebody.
Sure.
So I was staying with Ray in his, in New York. And Ray goes, do you think I could come out too if Phil would care? I go, Phil won't care. I go, the audience will, the audience will be thrilled to death. But, Ray hadn't seen a live show of Phil's. And the outpouring of love for Phil's
Yes.
live shows for like 1,200 people, 1,500 people will so, and he witnessed it then that night because Ray sat there. The audience went crazy. I did this setup where I said, someone's like, I saw Ray once in Tom's River, New Jersey, wherever. And I go, oh, was he nice to you? And from backstage, you hear, of course I was nice to her. And then
great.
he walks out, audience goes crazy. And then Ray sits down, and 99% of the questions are, Phil, when you make an omelet or when you're eating an omelet.
Yeah.
And so Ray's just kind of sitting there and he's like, okay, should I leave? Like what? So
Yeah.
Phil's audience is huge. But having said that, there's a majority of people that will always recognize Raymond and not Phil. And take it a step further for the thing
Yeah.
that you experience, Ray now has a beard. People
Yeah.
know Phil yesterday. Phil is on camera yesterday, and now you see him a day later because his show was filmed yesterday. Ray's show went off the air in 2000, Ray's main show, because Ray's done a ton of stuff since then. But and Ray has a beard, and he doesn't look exactly like he just stepped out of 2005. So now when people come up and go, oh my, it's Phil Rosenthal. Phil, would you mind if I took a picture and I'm standing there and I go, yeah, here, this guy can take it for you, and I give the camera to Raymond, and so then Ray stands there and he's like, okay, yeah, a little bit over, and then sometimes they'll be like, oh my God,
Ray
it's
Romano's
Ray.
taking my
And they'll,
picture.
and the other times they'll be like, don't screw it up, Mr. Not
That's great.
famous guy.
When I had the encounter, the woman is just talking Phil's ear off.
Yes.
And you could tell Phil was getting uncomfortable with it.
Sure.
And Phil's like, here's Ray, we're doing a 30th anniversary. And Ray's like, she doesn't even know who I am.
It's just-
She doesn't
yeah.
care.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
great.
I hope your dad did that impression in front of Ray, because he would. Enjoyed immensely. Okay, wow, we're still going here. This is good. It's wonderful to see Lorraine Boyle. Yes, Lorraine,
Yeah.
absolutely. Karen Jack. I would have liked to hear Lorraine's stories about Peter's time on the show. Yeah, the 40-year reunion, Eric. Get
Yeah,
ready.
we'll go to it.
The special was great, and I have it recorded to watch it again and again and again. Hopefully, there will be another one with the cuts that didn't make the future. We
Agreed.
can only hope. America 250 is next year. Would be great to honor America's greatest sitcom. Well, that's not bad. Eric, how did your career take off once you graduated college? What was your major that brought you to become an executive producer? Well,
Do you want me to get into that?
I do, but let me see. Eric, what is your go-to from craft service? Bob in Hawaii, aloha. Yeah.
Craft services is the worst. It's the best, and it's the worst.
Yeah. For everybody,
Yeah.
in show business, craft services is the kitchen, is the food area. So when you hear craft services, when you go on a set and someone says, hey, where's craft services? That means where's the food?
I do everything I can to stay away from it because invariably they have peanut M&Ms, and I take a red cup and I pour as many peanut M&Ms as I can into it. That's a go-to.
Yeah.
Peanut butter filled pretzels
Oh,
is
boy.
a go-to.
Oh, boy.
So I just try to stay away from it as much as I can, and I don't succeed most of the time. Is the truth. Good
Yeah, and,
question.
by the way, it all depends on what your production is also, where that is.
That's
wait,
funny. How did the nuns get the statue to Canada? Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Ryan in Wisconsin said that. Oh, here we go. By the way, I some names I bring up instantly, and other names I don't because I don't know and take a risk. So here's
Right.
one that I used to watch episodes with my grandma and grandpa when I was younger, and they are both gone now. But my wife, but me and my wife have started from the beginning and are on season 8. Oh, how a lot of humor went over our head as a kid.
Can I say something about that though?
Yeah.
Because in this process, so I told you I watched about 150 episodes. So
Right.
I had it on my phone, the Paramount Plus stuff I would watch.
Right.
I have it on my laptop. I have it on my TV. I would go outside. I have a TV outside, and I would watch it. But many times I would be inside in my living room. I have a TV, and that's where the kids come. I have 3 kids, and my girlfriend lives with me, and her kid too.
Yeah.
And they come home from school, and they'd see I'm watching it. They would all sit on the couch and watch it with me. And they wouldn't watch Carpool Karaoke with me when I would watch cuts of that, and a lot of the other shows I did, they would not watch.
Yeah.
They would sit and watch Ray with me.
Great.
Everybody Loves Raymond with me. And it was a beautiful thing. And they would laugh, and it took them, and they did not know the show at all.
Oh,
My kids
ground
are
zero.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking ages about 10 through 15.
Okay.
I have 3 kids.
Show was off the air by the time they were
Right,
born.
of that
Yeah.
time. So, but they start watching it, and it took them no time to identify with one of the characters. She's my favorite. Brad's my favorite.
Yeah.
They got the rhythm of the show almost immediately, and when the show ended. And I stopped watching episodes. They're like, "Can we watch some more Raymond episodes?" I'm like, "Sure." So it was such a beautiful thing for me that I got to work on this, and my kids are watching it with me and laughing, and we're talking about the episodes at dinner.
Yeah.
Because most of the time I try to talk about my day, and they're like, they do not care at all. But this was like them arguing on who the best on the show was and what their favorite episodes were. It was really fun. Really
awesome
fun.
to hear. That's
Yeah.
really awesome to hear. Because of
Yeah, you should be incredibly proud.
Well, I think we'll get more into the mechanics of the show. But here, let me do this for our camera guys. Should we switch out a battery, or do you think it'll last?
I think it's hanging in there.
Okay, because we'll lose camera, but we can bring it up. It's your call. Yeah.
Just wait till
Okay. So, all right.
people that might have.
Okay. Let me go down
Yeah,
to the
go
bottom.
down.
Holy moly! How involved was David Letterman in the creative process? I can answer that one.
Are you talking about the original sitcom or the
Yeah,
reunion?
the original sitcom, I would say, because that was a get. The ELR exhibit at Long Island Museum Hall of Fame was awesome. Did you get to see it in person? Okay, so Giovanni Danotto.
Danotto.
Okay.
Danotto.
So let me see. Eric has to come back. This is great. I don't think he'll be invited back.
Who's that?
That's
Lynn?
Lynn Vinor.
Lynn is my favorite.
Yeah. Okay, we see how you're a very linear person. I went to the
You notice how the camera has shifted to not have me in it, right?
There we go. Okay, so let me see. You are my spirit animal, Eric. I literally just ate a cupful of peanut M&Ms. Wow.
Who's that? Who's that?
That's Karen.
Karen,
Giampolone
yes.
in Texas.
Peanut M&Ms are the best.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes.
You know what's a close second? Peanut butter M&Ms.
Oh, I'm a big fan too.
Yeah, great. And put them in the freezer.
Yeah.
Helpful tip.
I think, yeah. No, I'm not. I'm just trying to.
I get it,
multitask.
I get it.
So the key grip on Everest Raven named Jim Dunn, one year for Christmas, I gave him a giant jar this big
Yeah.
with peanut M&Ms because he had what's known as an addictive personality.
Were they
And
gone
this
that
would-
day?
Well, it was. I mean, he would have.
Those
died.
are the worst. It's better to get them in a pouch.
Of course, because
Because
you can't control your addiction. Yeah,
You can. Who
Yeah.
can around
Yeah.
peanut M&M?
Yeah, yeah.
But you want to talk about Letterman? Because I would love to talk about Letterman for the reunion too.
Yeah, I would like to. Yeah, I would like to get a M&M sponsor.
Yeah. M&M's, if you're listening to,
Yes.
said.
I've never heard such passionate M&M talk. So, real quickly, for those of you, because these will be sound bites also, the show came about because Ray Romano did Everybody Loves Raymond, did David Letterman show, The Late Late Show, which is a network show that appeared here in America. Late night TV, Ray did a spot. He got a development deal from the Worldwide Pants Company, which is David Letterman's company. They looked for a writer. They found Phil Rosenthal. Somebody at Worldwide Pants was friends with somebody at HBO. HBO got involved on the production end, and then the show came about. David Letterman's company was streamed the table reads early on and recorded. So they watched every single table read, so we would get notes from New York. None of us know if Letterman ever saw a second of any of the table reads, etc. One of his executive producers would give notes, etc. But we didn't know if David Letterman ever watched. When Phil Rosenthal had a meeting with David Letterman, which he's told details about, but basically Letterman just said, "Don't embarrass us." That was his go forward note. So none of us know anything of Letterman, whether we ever watched the show, etc. When Ray would go back to the Letterman show, there was one time we were in a hallway and I almost went to I was at his first appearance and I was almost at every other appearance. There was a point where Ray and Letterman were in the hallway together, and if you ever went to the Late Late Show, it was like this bottleneck, and I had always had my camera, and I go, wrongly, I go, "David, would you mind if I took a picture of you and Ray?" And, "Oh, Ray, you got your photographer on you? Okay, yeah." And making jokes, puts his arm around, take that picture. We're flying back, Ray and I, later. We were in New York because Ray had won the Peabody Award for Men of a Certain Age. And we're looking at this picture of Ray and Letterman. And I'm going to Ray, I go, "It's bizarre because he is the guy that greenlit and made everything happen, your show happen, which is why you're doing okay financially, etc. And it's so rare just to have a photo of Letterman and you. Because, as I've said to people, like if you made me, $10,000, I'd be like, "Eric, let's have lunch. Let's have dinner. Eric, I'm so thankful for the money you made for me." Ray made Letterman hundreds of millions of dollars. And they never spoke, and they never, it was just
Right.
nothing bad. It just didn't come about. So now.
But he was on the show every year that the show was on the air. Ray.
No, Ray was
Right.
repeatedly
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Letterman
Yeah.
until the end. I mean, he
Yes.
was a favorite guest. Zero like, then they had a falling out.
Right.
No,
No,
no. Letterman was just not a social guy. He
No.
was like, "Ray, let's have dinner together." So that
his
little
thing. That's
photo,
it.
because Ray even said, if he got pissed for you asking to take that photo, like he might have been like, "You're done with the show," and I'd be
Right.
like, "I don't know why." It's like, you don't need to know why. You're just not on the show anymore, right?
Right.
So now the reunion comes around, and I will say this: maybe the first or second year, Letterman did a top 10 list for our rap party.
Nice.
Okay, and then never again. Okay, he would send gifts though. So we had zero idea if he even knew that Everest Raymond was something that he was involved in. So
Right.
now cut to.
So when I got the job and knew the history a little bit, I didn't know all the machinations, but I knew that Worldwide Pants was a producer on it, and I knew that it came out of this stand-up set that Ray had. I am a giant Letterman fan. Giant.
Yeah.
And I've never met him.
Okay.
And he's one of the few that, I am in love with that I never met. And that format, talk shows, late night talk shows, that's what I thought I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So the second I got the job, I'm like, we got to interview David Letterman. And I mentioned it to Phil and Ray, and they're like, if you can get him, like, I don't know if he'll want to do it, you know? And I went about figuring out how I could get to him.
Yeah.
And got to him, and he immediately said yes. With one caveat. He said, and I don't want to put words in his mouth.
Yeah.
I'm being careful not to, that he is embarrassed by the success of Raymond because he didn't do anything. He does not want anyone to ever think that he's responsible for what you saw on the screen.
Right.
Yes. He said yes to putting him on the show, The Late Show.
Yeah.
And he said, yes, let's make a deal with him. But in his own words, David Letterman, and he'll accept that, and that got the ball rolling.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want anybody to think that he's ever taking credit for what Everybody Loves Raymond became. He wants that to be Ray's and Phil's and yours and Patty's and Brad's and Doris and all the other
Yeah.
writers. He was so particular about that. And so I talked, before we got to the interview, about that with him and his producing partner.
Oh, okay.
That, no. I want you to talk about that moment. Like, what did you see of
Yeah.
him? And
Yeah.
I had this in my head. I wanted him to look at the stand-up again.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted 30 years later
Yeah.
him to watch the clips.
Yeah.
And so when I met him,
Yeah.
it was an amazing moment for me, selfishly, because I've been such a fan. And
Where did you meet him? You don't need the street address. East Coast or West Coast?
East Coast. I
East
didn't want to
Coast.
give away the secret sauce here a little
Oh,
bit.
okay.
That we interviewed Letterman in New York.
Oh, but people don't know how show business works.
Okay, so we interviewed him in New York.
Yeah.
But we put him against our backdrop.
Right.
Right,
No, but I mean,
so-
there's a lot of people, like, to me, that makes no, I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
but it makes zero difference. For you, maybe emotionally it makes a
Right.
difference, but there were people that couldn't,
They couldn't come
I'm,
here.
I'm in front of your backdrop for real, but if I was being
Right.
interviewed, it doesn't matter because I was cut out effectively. But if I was in front, it wouldn't, it's not like Letterman is more, yeah, I know what you're saying, but nobody's
Okay,
like,
so-
wait a minute.
I met him in New York.
Yeah,
Midtown.
yeah,
A green screen studio that was there.
right.
And he couldn't have been more gracious.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, to answer your question, he knew the show.
Okay.
We talked a lot about it, and before we ever got on camera, he said to me, I just want you to know, like, I watched the show, and we gave them some notes, and they didn't need them. Like, it was Ray and that cast and those writers and Phil
Yeah.
running that writer's room. It was just lightning in a bottle. And he absolutely was a fan of the show.
Yeah.
But he's a guy who, like, he did what he did.
Yeah.
And he does tell a really funny story about that we had, by the way, we had to cut out a Letterman story. A really funny story about something Ray asked him to do, or something that Ray wanted that David Letterman thought he could help with. And I'm not going to share that story because I hope one day we can have David Letterman tell that story because we told it on camera.
100,000. You already
I
named
know.
your price.
I'm going to keep that one. I shouldn't be the one to tell that story.
Okay.
It's
Let
really
Letterman
fun.
tell the story.
Yes. And
Okay.
hopefully someday he will. But he couldn't have been more gracious, more proud of the show, but also making sure that everybody realized he did not write it, he did not cast it.
Yeah.
That the team that was put together by Ray and Phil are the reason the show was successful.
Yeah.
And he loves that he got the ball rolling, but David is a self-deprecating guy by nature.
Right.
He couldn't have been more gracious to talk to, and the fact that he was willing to drive himself to this little
Studio.
and do it in the middle of his day when he's still shooting his Netflix show.
Yeah.
And he's got a YouTube channel that he's, promoting and putting content on. And he was and he gave me, I told him, I only need you for 15 minutes. Gave me like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And he enjoyed talking about
Yeah,
it.
it
So
comes across.
I thought that that was another element that I loved was part of our reunion.
And I would say this, when you told me you got Letterman, I remember because I think I was driving and you were like, I got and I was, because you didn't say like, you'll never believe, because you don't know the backstory.
Right.
You don't, like, you'll never believe it. I got Letterman is how you could have presented that.
Right.
But you don't know the backstory. She was like, and I was like, what? Yeah. You got Letterman. Like, that's because really.
He just wasn't a part.
But not even he wasn't a part, but we didn't know if he even liked, so he was
Right.
pivotal in making there no Letterman, no Raymond.
Right.
So, and I guess his humbleness is, makes sense. And look,
Yeah.
he could have been like, yeah.
Those were his words, that embarrassed by the success because he doesn't want anyone thinking that he was
did
responsible.
it. Yeah.
And it shows the power of the show, though, and how good it was, that David Letterman does not do a lot. Does more now than he did
Yes,
before.
yeah.
But he does not do a lot. And he clearly is so proud of what that became that he was willing to be a part of it like he was.
It's shocking. I look forward to us getting the $100,000 so
Yeah,
we can
sure,
get that.
put it together.
We can see that
GoFundMe.
footage. Yeah. By the way, we'll have for the podcast we'll break it into a two-parter. Okay. I've never seen more organic and effortless exposition in the pilot than what ELR did. Benjamin says some shows start off very clunky while they are still trying to explain all the family dynamics. Yeah, that's very much Phil wrote. So let me just take a second to talk about Phil for everything about the show. So the formation of the show, Phil wrote the pilot and, talked to Ray, and then it's Ray's real life in there. But the through line of the show was Phil as the showrunner. So for those of you watching where you go, that show wasn't as good later on, Phil was there for every second, and seeing how hard he worked and how hard because Phil was a brilliant director, and he never took a directing credit,
Right.
but he effectively directed every single episode. And so, with all respect to the directors, Phil would come in and block and do stuff. So the through line, and when I watch other shows where I go, wow, and I was even watching a Seinfeld commentary, and Larry David goes, is that how we ended that episode? I don't know. Every episode was incredible amount of effort to make sure that it worked. So when you watch all 210 episodes, you go, wow, there are no bad episodes,
No.
right? And so there's episodes you like better or worse, one of the episodes that we didn't love in the writer's room was Cruising with Marie. And one of the
my
episodes
God.
that people love is Cruising with
I love
Marie.
Cruising with
because,
Marie.
I'm just saying in general, like, there's no thing where you go, well, it kind of dropped off there. There's certain, once a woman eats a fly, chances are you're going to have a funny episode. But, there's other, but never. And I think, that was Phil as the guiding force, and then Phil and Ray together
Right.
as having this. And when you say never got schmaltzy, Ray's thing is not to be emotional. Phil is to be a little more emotional.
Yeah.
So it was this perfect union of like, I don't want to do this. And early on, even on the show, Phil educated me and Ray because we'd be like, Peter Boyle shouldn't do that. Frank shouldn't do that. Why? Because my father wouldn't do that. And Phil would be like, okay, but you're doing a TV show, not reality.
Right.
And so even we would fight Phil sometimes, and we were 100% wrong. Ray and I were, And so he would be like, I wrote the checkbook episode, which was based on a real life thing that happened to Ray.
With Andy Kindler.
Kindler,
right?
Kindler, yeah. And so we're going, oh, man, if Robert is the one that goes to the ATM, there's probably 2,000 officers. The odds of him being, and Phil would be like, listen, guys, the level of your stupidity, I appreciate the factualness. You guys are right. Probably a lot on the force, the odds. The audience demands that it's Robert. And we're like, but the odds of it. And poor Phil must have been like, oh my God,
They don't
these
get it.
knuckleheads. Like, I get that they want to be tied to, and there was a early on episode where Frank wins money in gambling, and Ray's like, my father would never give the money back. And Phil's like, okay, but
Can I ask you a question as a sitcom writer? Do you think, like, that moment where Robert shows up when
Yeah.
he's taking the money out of the ATM, do you think that works in a multicam sitcom but doesn't work in a single cam sitcom, which are trying so hard to be doc realistic? Or do
I
you think
don't-
it works in both?
Yeah, I think it would work in both. You know, one of the things for those of you that don't know, a multicam is just there's a live audience and there's many cameras shooting the same scene at once, kind of really established by Desi Arnaz. And then single camera is like a movie. So we're shooting a multicam here. I'm talking to Eric. There's a camera over there. There's a camera over there, and we're doing it in real time.
Like a play.
Like a play. It's folding out in real time. On a single cam, it'd be like, okay, now Eric, repeat that question on this side. Okay, repeat that question
And now
again.
we're going to do it for the wide shot. And
Yeah.
now we're going to do it for this close-up.
It's a molasses factory in
But
production.
you don't think comedically that it changes the like expectation of realism?
I don't. I think once you've established the tone of a show,
Yeah.
I think it doesn't. Because we used to argue in the room, or when you're pitching a sitcom
Yeah.
after, you're like, it's either a good story or it's not.
Okay.
So the angle of it, like,
I
yes,
did when that moment happened. I mean, I remember it like vividly.
you remember it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God! And just seeing Brad walk into frame, it's sensational.
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
sensational.
We almost, and Ray and I almost got our way. We almost won that fight. Poor Phil. So
Has anybody done like fan stuff where they take episodes and put them up as plays?
I saw one that was because just going back, Phil went to theater,
Yeah.
right? Studied theater at Hofstra, so he very much was. It's a play, and it is a play,
For sure.
so it plays out perfectly. So it's just capturing the moments with the camera versus the cinematic, things that you
Right.
can do on a single camera where you can do. And so it lends itself to scene study, etc. I haven't seen that. Now, as you know, they adapted the show to many, many different countries.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it lends itself to that, format. What's interesting is you can pull off making a low budget single camera sitcom, but you can't really pull off a low budget multi-camera
No,
sitcom.
too much.
You're right.
Too
and
much
yet,
goes into it.
when you're shooting the show, a multicam is much less expensive than a single cam.
It's true.
It's a
true.
bizarre.
No, but you can like go make there's always, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You
Yeah.
can make for no money.
A
But
pilot.
You could not do that with a
multi-camera. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. All right.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Yes, sir.
15 minutes left on this.
Okay, we have 2 more hours at the most. Can
I have Hanukkah. Do have Hanukkah dinner coming up tonight. So happy Hanukkah to
That's
all of
the
you.
light. If you see the light going dark, that's our skylight. So
Is
once
it
that-
really?
Yeah. So once that starts getting
All right.
darker. Okay. Lynn Van Orden, biggest fan of Eric. Can a single camera sitcom be shot in front of a live audience? No. And so the answer is yes, it could be. But what we just described, here's Eric and I, and we're talking, and I'm going to grab the canister here because we're gonna taste something.
What do you got in there?
I don't know. It's always put in there, and I taste something and rate it.
Okay.
So that action that you just saw me do for a single camera in front of a live audience, that would have been like, okay, Tom, reach back and get the canister. Okay, great. Let's cut. Let's reposition the lights. Okay, now we're going to be on Eric, his eye line. We're going to watch Eric, watch Tom do. It's
A
Torture.
horrible experience for the
yes,
audience.
it's torture, absolute torture. That's why movie making, when you actually make a movie, you see Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, you're like, I'd like to live that life.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't, because you're in your trailer most of the time. Yeah. So the answer is no. Excellent
It's also
question,
why you
though.
hear so much about people talking about editing, especially in single cams and movies.
Yeah.
It is a different thing. For the most part, for a multicam sitcom, what you shoot is what ends up in the final cut.
Yeah.
Things get trimmed, but
Yeah.
it's a single cam and movies are different.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's do fine. Let me scroll
Yeah.
down before we try a taste of something. I'm bringing. Sorry, if you see something, so that's good, right? Yes, he is. I've never seen more organic. Yes, effortless. I attended one Letterman filming in 2004 when Ray was on it. Later, I had a photo with him. Okay, it was me and a photo of Letterman on a wall store, but I'm still counting it. All right, Annabelle, that's very nice. I could, I did have dinner with Ray and Letterman, and it was a very bizarre thing. I'll tell that another time.
that's cool.
Let me see this. I'm enjoying this long segment. I don't know if that's passive aggressive, but thank you, Tom and Eric. Yeah, we're going because it's rare and also.
I mean, I know that the chances of me being invited back are slim to none, so
Well, no.
I'm sucking up every minute of screen time I can.
It's funny because there's so many stories that I haven't heard that are great for me to hear, and it's like it's
Sure.
and this audience obviously is eating it up because the
Good.
reunion special was so good and so successful. Okay, Let me see. Yes,
Yes to peanut butter M&Ms. Correct.
Can you do it again with Eric? I don't think so. How did Phil and Ray meet? They made the greatest show ever. Yes.
I'm going to start ELR 361. Just
We
do it
always
up
had the show on, and when we were adult kids, but I do think, okay, so I'm peering down. Okay, let me race through some. Let me just hide this and then hide this. Really quickly.
Yeah.
Sorry, just going back to stuff I sloughed over. I did go to the Long Island Museum, where the current set that Eric took out of the budget to make is now in the Long Island Museum in Stony Brook, New York. Ray and I went there. We spoke. I posted a film of that. It's amazing to see. And if there's ever another special, Eric, you can rent that for $400,000.
By the way, they should know you are the reason it's there.
I am the reason it's there. Yeah,
That is phenomenal.
yeah.
It's-
I'm not above bragging or anything, but I don't want to bore them. But yes, I helped make that happen. So
See, I will tell you, the set people,
Yes.
there's another story from the set. So building that set was unbelievable.
Right.
I mean, the Friends did a reunion,
Yeah.
and they used the set, but it's there. They kept the set at Warner Brothers. It's part of the tour.
Yeah.
This didn't exist.
Yeah.
So we had to go back to Donna and Sharon, these people
Yeah.
that were the original set people on
Yeah.
the show, and they still had the plans.
Yeah.
And they had the institutional knowledge for what the wallpaper has to be this, what picture needs to go here. There were all kinds
Yeah.
of those details that didn't make air. There was like, on the fridge, they put, it would have been Donna, on the fridge was the list of acceptable snacks for
Yeah.
Little League.
T-ball
for T-ball,
episode, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like, it was so important to her that be part of it. And those details do matter.
Yeah.
They made everybody feel like what you said, what Ray said, what Phil said about like, it's like we went back in time.
Yeah.
And my office was in that building. It was just on a different floor. And getting to watch that day by day get put together,
Yeah.
I was there for the whole process, was fascinating and remarkable.
Yeah.
And watching it get torn down was horrible.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sure.
And it goes away.
Disassembled, let's say, yeah.
So that it could be reassembled on
in Long Island for a year, at least a year.
Yes.
Can I tell you that even though I'm very glad that it happened, but selfishly I'm like, oh, there's a chance that we could still do something with that. Now we got to make it live somewhere forever.
Right.
Right? Because the Friends thing. All right, here.
Yeah.
Eric,
All right,
real
let's do it.
quickly.
Yep.
So this is the canister given to me by Rhonda for a week, and that was 2 years ago.
By the way,
So-
wouldn't you say the canister is one of the classic episodes of the show?
Yeah.
If you had to do any kind of like top 20 list, it would probably
Oh,
exist on it.
100%, yeah.
We did not get to feature the canister
Yeah.
episode.
No, you're a bad person, and we've established that. You slashed and burned
But
every
we-
good interview.
We have a really good section that, again, would be great if it saw the light
By the
of
way,
day.
you had a section about the fathers, which went away.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. I usually do this. I rank it 0 to 10. I wrote this. I don't know what. Here. I think this is a British one. It's a star. What is
Oh,
it?
but
Read
it's
it.
Cadbury.
Read it.
Star Bar.
A star bar. Never heard. Have you
Do
ever
I
heard of it?
No, but do we get to split it?
Yeah,
Because it's a little weird that there's only one.
Yeah, we
just
take a
one.
Yeah. How much?
Just one.
Yeah, you take a. Hold on.
All right.
So here we go, folks. I usually have my camera much. Where am I? Oh, there's the
Star
camera.
Bar.
Yeah. So it's a star bar. Sorry, this is a.
Can I say that's a good name for a
Problem.
candy bar? Star Bar is a good
And
name.
you've never heard of it, right?
No.
And I've never heard.
But
of
I
it.
do love that it comes from the
Cadbury
Cadbury
Company,
I'm
yeah.
a fan of the Cadbury Company.
So I usually 1 to 10. I've never given a 9. I don't think I've never given a 10. Usually,
Do you do decimals?
7. Yeah, 7.
sure.
A 7 point here.
Okay.
Only because I know where my hands have been. You should probably do the honor of breaking it.
All right.
Oh, I always forget to refrigerate these. Well, because it's in the canister. Sweet bastard. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Oh wow. It's just a,
Were you expecting me to go smaller?
no. I just
okay.
a cavalcade of.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, and I'll. All right, hold on. Oh boy. Mine
Okay.
didn't last.
I mean,
So
is that nougat?
it is nougat. It's milk chocolate. I lost it. I don't. Usually I can hold it up, but we have a. The camera's further away than usual.
I need to rate it first because I don't want to be influenced by you.
I wonder.
You're
Yeah,
the pro.
hold on. Omar, I agree. Omar, can you hold that up to that lens? I'll tell you how when it focuses.
This is tough for me because I don't
Drop it down. Drop it down.
I don't regularly rate candy bars.
Tilt. Yeah, it wants the human being, Eric. Great. Star bar. Good. Beautiful. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Now we're
So,
back.
Tasty. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's not at peanut M&M level for me. It's not at Snickers level for
wow.
me. It's not at Reese's Peanut Butter Cup level for me.
Wow.
It's not at 100 Grand Bar level for me, which I think is the most underrated candy bar.
The 100-gram bar.
Do you like a 100 Grand bar?
Well, I do, but also that's the dollar amount we figured out would allow you to give us clips.
No,
for
all I
YouTube.
meant was 100 Grand bar.
Oh, okay.
It's just, I'm going to give that one a 7-8.
Oh, so that's high.
Okay.
That's actually high.
That's a high, well, but it's a good candy bar.
Oh, now you're recounting. You're like,
Well, 7-8 is, if you got a 7-8 out of 10 in school, you're a C+ student.
yeah.
That's not great.
I think I've been grading low. I would
Okay.
give it. Let me see. See, I'm a sucker for chocolate,
Yeah, I love chocolate.
and it's tough because we rate biscuits also, which is the British term for a cookie.
Sure.
And they tend to be not on the as sweet side.
Right.
Right. And the Jammy Dodger is a beautiful biscuit if you ever get a chance.
Okay.
I'm going to give this a 7.6.
Oh, well, we're not that far apart.
No. I mean,
Okay,
it's
okay.
in the ballpark.
Yeah,
Okay.
but where would you rank a Snickers bar? Have you done Snickers?
I haven't
on this?
done a Snickers.
But
I haven't done a
you-
lot of
that's
American
too
bars.
mainstream.
No, there's no. We're equal
So you might
opportunity.
rate it in the future?
Oh yeah, I'll invite you back. When you come back, we'll do a Snickers bar.
Give me an example of a candy bar that you have done before.
Very few candy bars
Oh,
have I
okay.
done, and I've only done British ones that I've never heard of, that you've probably never heard of.
Have you done the British biscuits, if you will, that are like in the cylinder
Yeah,
with a little chocolate in the
yeah.
middle? Those are great.
Yeah, it's funny because the British people are going. The level of ignorance about these is it.
I love them.
Does it catch? Yeah, yeah. There's a. Oh boy, it's funny because it's not popping in my head. But yeah, I've done a lot of them. So listen,
Yeah,
before
sorry.
we never got to Eric's career. We're running out of actually media.
We'll do
Media.
that on part 2.
So here's the question
Okay.
now. There's stuff that was deleted from the show.
Yes.
You hear these people begging you.
Yeah.
Could there be next year another like a 31-year reunion? Because
Why wait till next year?
I don't
If
know.
it were up to me,
Tonight. You were there. Yeah. They do. Okay. Final question. By the way, I completely ignored.
but can I also say
Instagram.
something that I just want to make sure everybody is.
Yeah.
So when we say we shot for 3+ hours,
Yes.
3.5 hours,
Yes.
not all of that,
Is gold
or is even
in focus.
right. It's in color, but that might be it.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of stuff when you shoot any show that is not live,
Right.
that is just fluff.
I think
and
they
filler.
know this,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, if you've been with us for the last 2 hours,
Yeah.
how long has this been going on? 4 days?
Like we started Friday, so it's quarter after.
Oh my God,
yeah.
2 hours. All right. So I just don't want people to think like there's 7 hours of footage that is amazing stuff. 3 hours is how long it took us from beginning to wrapping, but a lot of that is in between segments, me
Hold,
talking,
yeah.
holds, let's redo
Yeah.
a shot.
Make
'cause-
sure you thank Lorraine Boyle. You would run out with
Right,
a sign
right,
and
right.
go, "Hey guys, I know you're having fun. I'm still trying to make a show. Ray took a cookie break we didn't count on, but let's keep going."
And let's also say this, of that 3 hours, 35 to 40 minutes is showing clips.
Right.
Like we showed the clips on the stage.
Okay.
So,
I just remembered something that I forgot to ask
Yeah.
you. So this, I'm going to ask you. I deliberately didn't tell you a heads up.
Uh-oh.
No, nothing bad. Only good stuff. However, somebody brought this up to me, and I go, "Are you that? What?" It sounded so insane to me. So I
Okay.
went back and looked through my photos. I go, "Wait a minute. Let me check my photos." And I have almost like the Zabruder film. I'm like, "Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
Not quite everything." Somebody, unbeknownst to me, I go, "Wait a minute, is that a thing?" And so my audience goes, "Oh yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big discussion online." Monica gets introduced. Let's say Eric is the editor or
Yeah.
in charge.
Monica gets introduced.
She hugs her husband. She
Yes.
hugs maybe somebody else or maybe not.
And then
and then she sits. You see the audience, and then she sits down.
Yes.
So the controversy is. Do you know where I'm going with this?
did she not hug? Or did we cut out
She
hugs?
snubbed Patricia Heaton, and it's because of a feud. That, like it,
Okay.
it ran into a
No.
conversation.
Here's what happened. Monica gets the short end of the stick here because
Yes.
she was last,
Right.
in that section.
Right.
So there were more people to hug.
Right.
And while I know that hugging is great to watch, it's too much time. And I'm trying not to cut out your 2 seconds
Right.
that were in there.
2 seconds,
So if
yeah.
I let Monica hug everybody, who
Yeah.
we've already seen hug Brad, and Brad hugs Ray.
Right.
I remember having the conversation with the editor. I'm like, please just get Monica to sit down quickly.
Okay.
Please.
So, not, just to make people clear, Monica enters, she hugs Phil.
That's the camera.
She hugs, still going, I still got it. She,
Oh, no, now we're gone.
all right, switch the battery and then we'll go.
So can the
we'll
live people
hold.
still hear us?
They can hear us, but I want to
Yeah, they
wait for the
can't see us.
camera. Give
Okay.
us 1 second.
No,
and
it's
we'll get a
funny
lens.
because it was
They
a real.
can still hear us though, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're bringing it up. It was a real thing that we discussed, and it
So
was.
for folks at home, don't panic. We just are doing a slight battery switch.
Is this
and
a
then we'll
common thing?
continue the
Have-
story.
do you often run
Never,
out?
Never.
Well, we have a cable that usually powers.
Powers it, yeah.
Oh, well, that's right. Is
That's
this a
your
long
camera.
episode? Or fairly
Yeah, the longest in
standard?
history, yeah. So, let me just see, are we good?
The longest in history with the least interesting guest.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, you can check.
Not yet.
Okay.
We're still dark, everybody. Hang in there with us.
Battery, sorry.
Hang in with us. We have a so I love that we're about to solve this mystery.
No.
Yeah, we're going to put an end to this horrible controversy.
So did you know about it, the controversy?
No.
Okay, great.
I did not.
That's great. So here, this
I
is
tend to not read stuff
Social
about
media?
my shows. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
This is
this
dead too.
this was brought to my attention. So here, we're still talking, everybody. We're still here, and we'll get the audio of this. So it was brought to my attention. I go, really? And they're like, yes. Here's what happened. So I was clueless also. I go, because the topic is so absurd when you're on the
Right.
inside.
Right.
So what you're going to hear from Eric is the truth of what happened. And when I look back at my photos, I have a picture of Monica hugging Phil, hugging Raymond, and then it's from behind, so she's clearly hugging 2 other people, but you can't see who she's hugging. So I thought, in conspiracy theory land, people are going to go, we don't see who she's hugging. She
Yeah.
snugged Patricia Heaton. I can tell you she snugged Patricia Heaton because I know.
How do they
that
know
it-
she is the one who snubbed? What if
Oh.
she went in for the hug
Oh yeah,
and Patricia,
that's a
which
very
also
good-
didn't happen?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
We're switching cameras here, it looks like.
Yeah, here we go.
Should be good. Is it? It's a
Not.
streaming standby.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you have to hit OK.
I did hit okay.
Okay.
I hit okay, so it should be feeding you.
All right, let's see what we got, folks. Here we go. The mystery camera is bingo.
There we go, we're back.
We're back.
Okay.
Okay.
So can we just pick it up?
Let's start, but let's start
Okay.
somewhat fresh.
Okay.
The controversy is Monica Horan snubbed Patricia Heaton, looked at her, did not hug her, and sat down in defiance.
Okay,
True or false?
false.
False. But I watched the special.
100% false. Here's what happened. You could even go back and look at this part. When Patty comes down the stairs, when
Yes.
she gets introduced, she gets from stairs to seat quicker than any human can actually get. It just takes too much time
Yeah.
for what we call inside baseball. We call all that stuff the business.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of business when you come on set.
Yeah.
Here comes, let's shake, let's this. When you only have 66 minutes and
Yeah.
20 of it or 26 is clips, and you want to get as many content pieces in, you have to find areas to pull from.
Yeah.
And so I said to the editors, get Patty down the stairs quickly. Brad does something funny when he comes in where he touches
Yeah.
Ray's face.
Yeah.
It goes pretty quick. But when Monica came in, poor Monica had to go through the whole list of people. And I'm like, she's got to hug her husband,
Yeah.
right? Like, that would be weird if we
Yeah.
didn't put that in. But then I said, just get her to her seat.
Yes.
We have to just get her to her
Yeah.
seat, cut to the audience, whatever we have to do. I just want to save the time. She hugged everybody. Believe me, because I watched it and it took 3.5 minutes. And I didn't want to waste the audience's time with just hugging.
Oh my goodness.
So there you go.
So obviously the conspiracy people will think he's lying unless we see the footage. And then when they see the footage, they'll say AI did it.
But if I did a second episode,
Yes.
a part 2, that would not be in the part 2 either.
Or part 3 or part 4.
No, it
right?
wouldn't be.
And
It
so, by the
wouldn't
way, there's a cumulative effect. For those of you that are longing for the longer episode, when you watch a movie that's 80 minutes and they're like, wow, they cut out this funny scene, if you add them all back, you might be sitting there for 120 minutes and go, I didn't like that movie.
That's
at
exactly
all.
right.
And so
Yeah.
you leave them wanting more. So there you go, everybody. Monica,
I will say though,
Patty.
I think you would agree with me here. Leave them wanting more makes a lot of sense for a series.
For a series.
Yeah,
Yes.
because you want at the end of the episode for them to come back next week.
Right.
If you don't have a second episode, you want to give them as much as you
they
can give
can,
them. Tom
yeah.
and I wanted a 2-hour episode. We did. We
so
wanted. And by the way, did you tell them? Have you revealed that they wanted 2 hours for the repeat?
I have not revealed anything.
So we could talk about that.
Yeah.
When they came to us for the repeat, so it was Thanksgiving week, right? It airs on Monday night.
The 24th.
On Tuesday night, they come to us and say, we're going to air it on Friday night. Can you give us an extra half hour?
Right.
My initial thought is, yes, we'll do that. Let's try. But then I got into, can we actually logistically do it? And it was impossible. Thanksgiving was happening. So there was nobody who was going to edit it. And again, back to what we talked about before. It's not just editing that stuff down to
Yeah.
give the extra half hour. It's got to seamlessly fit in with the other stuff. And then you have to go color and mix it, which takes a day and a half.
Yeah.
We did not have the time
Yeah.
to do it. But we originally, it was like the biggest I told you so. We kept saying, we wanted 2 hours from the beginning. We wanted it.
So, I would say this. Incredibly grateful to CBS for airing it to begin with.
Oh my God.
We-
and they promoted the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Like, they supported it. I will say this about CBS.
Yeah.
They were incredible to work with.
Yeah.
We had a tight time frame. They loved it all the way up. I'll reveal this too. This has never happened to me on a show.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give names.
Yeah.
But a very senior person in the network who greenlit it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, and greenlight is the term used for the person who actually allows the show to go forward and pays for it.
Right.
She is a huge fan of Everybody Loves Raymond. She is a huge deal at the network.
Right.
And she wasn't able to be there, and it killed her to not be there. She wanted something from the show.
Oh.
All the cast signed the poster.
Oh, I thought Patricia Heaton was missing. No, okay.
Yeah, everybody signed it for her, and they presented it to her, and it's in her office.
Oh, that's
how
really nice.
much they
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I think I preface that and that the incredible support from CBS and that going back initially the talk was when Phil, Ray, and I were initially meeting a year ago. It was like, hey, this is what it could be, and then it came closer. Like it'll probably be 60 minutes, maybe 90 minutes if you
Right.
can stretch it. And Phil was like, well, it should be 2 hours. Like why would And so it was like, well, 2 hours is in CBS's defense, that's a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
That's a lot of ad dollars. That meaning they have to know there's no precedent other than from 2005. So when they go, whatever the CBS show is on now, it's like it gets this ratings, it gets this ratings. Well, what will Everett Raymond's special get?
don't know.
We don't know.
And sweeps week.
Yeah.
It was the last week of sweeps.
Yeah.
Which, again, inside baseball, it's not as meaningful as it used to be, but it's really 4 times a year, but 3 major ones in November, February, and May are these 4-week periods called sweeps, which are the most important for the networks because that's what there's a whole reason for it, but those ratings for those 4 weeks are the most important. So it's when historically networks have put on their finales, mid-season finales.
Special guests,
Yes,
anything.
stunts.
Yeah, so and what Eric is saying without saying it is the money comes from those weeks.
Exactly.
So they determine their ad rate. So when a big company says, I'd like to advertise my product, and they go, well, our last sweeps weeks, we did amazing numbers because we had we pulled out no stops
Right.
on sweep weeks so we can charge you more money, is the bottom line.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and so
And so giving them 2 hours, that's asking for 67% of their prime time on one night.
Yes.
That's a ton.
And it's a big risk. And so in CBS's defense, they're like, guys, I know you were popular in 2005, but things have changed. People are on this, people don't even know who Everett Raymond is. So Phil was like, it should be 2 hours. How? We can't be 60 minutes, because initially they're talking 60 minutes. So now, as I like to make the noise, it's like, we'll air it on Monday. Can you make it 2 hours? Also, Eric, it's one of the biggest national holidays in the world. Also, you have to go in the edit bay. Also, you have to color correct. And Thursday, Thanksgiving, not some things are shut down. The country shuts down. And also, the color corrections goes, hey, I'm visiting my family in Montana.
Yeah.
So I'll see. And the production house goes, you know we're closed
Right.
on Wednesday, and we show up, if you're lucky, on Monday. Oh,
Yep.
can we air it into impossible things? So now you, in the I told you so, where, believe me, the phone call I got from Phil, because I texted just Phil, oh, I'm guessing they might regret it not being, and then my phone rang, and it was Phil going, let me tell you something, let me tell you. And so now, again, so thankful for CBS. In their defense, they just don't know that it was going to be the highest rated special of the year.
And the highest rated special for them in many years.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it almost did the same numbers as the Emmys.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And I also want to say, it went on Paramount Plus, so you can watch the special. It's on Paramount Plus. I'm sure everybody knows that. But it did what we wanted it to do, which was it made people go back and watch the show. Raymond was back in the top 10 shows on Paramount Plus for the several days after the special ran. So that I love.
Ripple effect. And
Yes.
when you come back again, we're going to go into your career.
Okay.
And I'll talk more about the piece of information I got that started the ball rolling again for the reunion.
Oh, cool.
Which was so
Cool.
out of the blue that when I went
good,
to
'cause
Phil,
I
I
don't know
said,
that.
yeah, it's a fascinating story. All right. We've rated the bar. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
What is the name? Pay
Star Bar?
Star Bar.
Star
Okay,
Bar.
yeah.
Payday's
Star
a good bar.
Payday, yeah, I know. I have. They're jumbled. Okay.
What is your favorite bar?
Oh boy.
What's your favorite American candy bar?
I really favorite. And by the way, I
or
love a
candy.
s-
It
yeah.
doesn't.
So
But
what-
chocolate. Stay in the chocolate.
Oh.
I don't want to get into Starburst and Skittles, and don't want to.
How
do
much
that.
recording media do we have? Because we could go.
Just give me
Yeah,
chocolate bar.
Chocolate bars.
or chocolate piece
So
of candy.
and now also because of health reasons, I love a really good dark, just a straight dark chocolate. Now, having said that, I got introduced, thanks to this audience, to a Cadbury fruit and nut bar. That
Ooh.
it's another
Really?
world of goodness. Yeah, I'll have it ready for you on your next.
Rolos? You like Rolos?
Rolos are good.
That's a
that
good
wasn't in my
candy.
radar.
Rolo. Score bar? That's pretty good too.
The score bar. All right.
Charleston Chew.
The Charleston Chew. Everybody.
Okay.
Before
This
we
has
say
been
about
really
it,
fun, by the way,
Dark
and-
chocolate is my favorite. Yes. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Eric.
Skittles, of course.
When the network executive should have consulted with me, because I could have told them it would be a huge hit. All right, Karen, you're
Karen,
biased though.
come
Yeah,
on.
come on, yeah.
You're right, though, Karen.
Was that on purpose? What were the ratings the second time? I don't know.
Don't know. The problem is for a repeat, they never promote it like you do the first one.
Yeah.
But I think they were happy with it.
Yeah.
I think they were happy with it.
I made a new friend at my pool over ELR, and being from Long Island.
That's
well,
great,
we'll
Ellen.
take credit for that. I'm watching the tape now with Monica walking in, hugging Phil, then walking straight to Brad. The coffee table was between Ray and Patty and her. So for those of you that don't know, thank you, Lynn. I've pronounced
Yep.
your name incorrectly before. We didn't get to watch it when it aired because of Thanksgiving and our kids being here, but we recorded it, of course, and can't wait to watch it again.
Awesome.
Nice. So just so you know, for editing purposes, so people understand what he's talking about with the hug, where he goes, get her seated. That's not Eric on the set yelling, sit down, sit down. That is, and I've explained this to people before, when you go, wait a minute, what is he talking about? I'm watching, she doesn't hug her. When we did the Italy episode, Ray walks into a really small room and he goes, wow, this room? Yes, Ray, this room. That is shot in Burbank, California on stage 5. When he walks and looks out the window immediately after, he's on a balcony in Italy. We didn't transport him. It's shot separately. So with editing, where Eric says to his editor, sit her down. Like, don't have time to show the business. Nobody cares. Everybody's going to be lost. If he went back and he had all those secret tapes that he's sitting at his house with, And he just played it for us real time. There she hugs it. There
Yeah.
she hugs it. There she hugs. Boy, this is boring to watch. Yeah, there she hugs. There she hugs. So now she's sitting down, and Eric goes, "Cut out Lorraine Boyle's segment because we just watched Monica hug,
Right.
and the fifth person to hug people."
Look at the segment where Madeline and Sullivan come out, because that's two people coming out.
Yes.
That each want to hug the four people that are already out there.
Right, 2
And
hours.
if you watch that closely,
Yeah.
you will see people jump in time.
Position,
Yeah,
okay.
they are beamed to other places.
Okay.
Because there was no way to get around it.
Yeah.
I wanted to show the little hugging, but then I want them to sit down and talk about the show.
Yes. See, Eric's getting agitated. You know, when he was yelling at the kids on set, it was very off-putting. Sit down, start the show. Okay, I love that people are still with us. When Madeline came out, it was very emotional. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thanks, Eric, again. I'm looking forward to hearing from your career and story, how it all started, etc. I ask on this segment today. Yes. Yes. We'll do it.
If
Yeah.
he invites me,
Yes.
I will come back.
We'll do it
gladly.
Yeah, if you have a book to promote or something, that always helps.
I better
too.
write one.
Will Tom have you back? Yes, you would be great on it as a special guest. Yes. All right, enough compliments for Eric. think
Maybe I
we've
should
heard
just
enough.
host it.
Where is the bar from? I think it's from the UK. Everybody, the
has to be,
suitcase
yeah.
was everything. I figured that Tom was the reason everything took place. Period. Yeah, I'll be the opposite.
He's
of
a
Letterman.
big part of
I'll
it, that is for sure.
Take credit for everything. But Eric will put me back in his Christmas, New Year, Easter special. Is that what we landed on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah right there.
Thank
and the
you.
Hanukkah special, yeah.
Thank you, Lynn.
Okay, and now look at this. We neglected this.
Oh, what's this?
This is called Instagram. We haven't
Okay.
even looked at YouTube. Okay.
But there's no question.
I love how Eric loves Mars products. Okay.
I don't even know that I'm loyal to the Mars company.
You are. You
By
are.
the way, I do love a Mars bar.
Yeah.
You can't find them. I did some research on that. I think you have to go to a store, ironically, that is focused on British products.
Yes.
But Mars bars aren't sold in America much anymore.
Okay, Pam, you can answer that. Yes, can we please see the episodes
Way
that
over-
got edited?
yeah.
I'm way over here.
Yep,
yeah,
yep, I see it.
So yeah, we'll get him. Okay, so
The
just to
light
recap-
is starting to fade.
Yeah, just
Hanukkah
to recap.
Henry's on his way.
Yeah, no, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to recap, Eric will be back. Excuse me. Hold on.
Thank
Let me
you for
drink out of
having
my,
me.
Yeah, quotes
Thank you
mug.
for having me.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a blast.
Eric will be back. He'll reveal where in his house, in what shoebox are the secret tapes that he cut because of
secret
just
tapes. Yeah.
because of his anger at people for not sitting down quick enough. And then we're going to try the Mars bar. We're going to have a Mars bar if we can get it.
Great.
A
Snickers bar?
A Snickers bar, but there was one other one you named, a Rolo.
Rolo.
And we'll figure that
Yeah,
out.
we'll figure
and
that
then my fans here, the fans of the show, not me, you guys, any questions for when Eric returns, please keep them in mind because I'm glad we cleared up a lot today. It's
Good.
very insightful. So,
Good.
All right, Eric, thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you again soon, and I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. There's the camera, so we can wave to the camera if I can find the
Thank you, everybody.
cursor.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for the great questions, and see you next week.